This episode of the Esoteric Order of Roleplayers is brought to you by the generosity of our backers on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/esotericrp to find out how you can become a backer too. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up with all the latest news, and join our Discord community to chat with players and fellow listeners. The Esoteric Order broadcasts from Santa Fe, New Mexico. We recognize these episodes are produced on the traditional territory of the Tewa-speaking Pueblo peoples, and we acknowledge their community, their ancestors, their elders both past and present, and future generations. The Esoteric Order of Roleplayers present The Great Game, a Castle Falkenstein campaign, with David Larkins as the host. Here we go. So we're getting right back into this unfolding mystery of firearms and margarine. But before we do, I did want to mention that for the first time in Esoteric Order history, I have received swag from a company based off the game that I'm running. So, our Telsorian very kindly dropped me a message on Twitter and said, would we be interested in integrating their next forthcoming adventure entertainment into the campaign. It's going to be coming out at the end of this month for Halloween, for general release, but we got a nice little sneak preview here. So once we wrap up Firearms and Margarine, we'll roll right onto that one, because actually it fit in perfectly with what I was already planning to do anyway. So this is just going to add some extra spice to
that's awesome. That's really cool. Thank you.
That does sound badass.
Yeah. Also, thanks to our Telsorian.
Indeed.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. It's funny. I thought you were asking us, like, do we want to? And I was all prepped to be like, look, man, I only need to know one thing, where they are.
I hope you're right.
But it was more of a, this is what's happening. So I'm like, oh, well, that's even better, because I'm on board.
The choice has already been made.
That was fantastic.
I was actually thinking earlier, a few hours ago, I was like, I don't remember how long David said this was our adventure was supposed to be, but I hope it lasts longer than this arc.
No, that's my intention for sure. I definitely want to try and get everybody's main threads wrapped up, various rivals or allies that haven't made an appearance yet, we can hopefully work into the narrative. So we'll see this through to its logical conclusion. I am already planning to take the night of the 3rd off, since that's election night, and I don't think I'm going to be in any condition to run a game. But other than that, we'll just carry on beyond that for as long as we need to.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm. All right. So on that note, then, where did we leave off last week? Who wants to take that one this time around? Who's got the notes?
Yep.
Not it.
Yeah, I think I've got. Let me see here. Okay. I'll. I don't know if everybody still has the link to our notes, but I will throw them in the chat again.
Yeah, Kenny, I forgot that you had like collated all of that for us. Thank you
That's
for
right.
putting that together.
Hey.
Clearly we need that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We have enough mysteries in real life to keep track of. I figured we might as well. We don't have Twitter for Castle Falkenstein, so let's do our own notes. So last time, let's see here. Gosh, I feel like it's more I feel like we have more notes than we need to. Like Dave, I'm sure David's probably like, you guys know who it is, just go do it. But I'm not confident. Anyways, so we have
You clearly know it's Jules Verne. I mean, come on, stop beating around the bush.
That's right. Yeah, we do know that there could be some time traveling shenanigans happening.
That's true. That's true.
When time travel's involved, you've really got to, count your ducks. Because we have this painting depicting the scene of the assassination, and this painting is about 10 years old. So either the artist maybe dreamed it was going to happen, or he was there and then time travel scrambled his brains or something like that, and that's why he's in an asylum. Iskander's gun plans were stolen. Bernadette was there, that we know. Well, at least it was made to seem like she was there. Lamott's solar trigger plans, which is the weapon the gun that killed the fairy, was automated, I guess. Likely triggered by the reflection of a mirror. Those plans were stolen. Bernadette possibly was there. We didn't find her calling card or anything like that. But somebody matching her description, I believe, was there. And his plans were stolen from a safe, the key of which he always keeps around his neck, I believe, or somewhere on his person. So I know Bernadette is sneaky, or no, she's strong, but I don't think she's sneaky. And then there's Hugh, which is kind of this wild card. He's been contracted by Prussia through Bernadette to buy, to basically like sell guns to Prussia, which he's manufacturing because he gave up on the margarine business pretty much. And then he could potentially have Iskander's minigun plans. I don't know if that was confirmed or not last session. And when we rolled up to the margarine plant the first time, Haas and I, Bernadette was leaving. And then we have also some notes from Butterchest, rest in peace, of some rejected loan applications from Paris, correspondence when the Winchester company licensing their design for Hugh to use. So he's manufacturing Winchesters. There's an insurance policy for the property in case it burns down or something like that. He'll get a pretty penny. And there's a promissory note from Bernadette producing a mini Gatling gun, which is Iskander's idea. And a letter of interest from the Prussian government. So I think Hugh, he's definitely involved in some way, but I think he may be too much of a dummy to realize it. Or at least he's just like in the arms race. And then we have a couple loose ends, really. Right now, it's the painting. We don't know how the painting ties into this. And then the police were being mesmerized, which I believe Monsieur Haas, or Herr Haas, I guess. Did you let that slip? That yeah, old loose lips Haas.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty good. He let slip to the ferry camp that the police were being hypnotized and militarized by somebody for some reason. But we're not quite sure how that fits into it. And actually, I had a question. I don't know that we ever figured out why the police were being hypnotized and what Breksta learned from the land of Fairy. I can't remember that personally. When the police chief disappeared, and they went into the land of Fairy and then came back the next morning. I don't remember that. I see here. And then what else do we got? Yeah, we have some motivations. Really, so far, the only motivation that I think seems like we can follow up on is profit from Martin Hoog. I think Bernadette is just possibly doing her job, and her job just sucks. And then something involved with the fairy leader because she had a mirror in her hand which triggered the gun. So she may have been trying to make a martyr out of herself, or something. I'm not quite sure.
I remember that Frederick was somewhere, and he sent a page to come and fetch us. And then when that happened, there was a split that some of us were going.
Went to the ferry camp.
Right. Most of us went to the ferry camp. Grant went somewhere off on his own, I thought.
Hoog, I think, right? Hoog, back to meet with Hoog. Was that right?
No, because Hoog went to, no, you're right. Well, Hoog he has a meeting with tomorrow. So he was taking the night off basically to go wandering in Paris, and we don't know exactly where he's going.
That's it.
Correct. I'm probably just drinking in an alley.
I mean, fair. I don't presume, but I assume. Let's see. And so the rest of us are trying to gather information there. Things got a little pushy, but also Haas fell in love with the fairy leader, who is one of our prime suspects. So that's exciting. So that happened. And then just the only other thing about Lamotte's plans, he was very concerned / confused that based on the timeline of when they would be stolen, assuming no time travel, there should not have been enough time to build it.
So I think we maybe have two theories or two working possibilities here. One, I think the police, the mind control police thing is a bit of a red herring, or is something else going on there. I don't know how that relates to it, but I think the two possibilities are that Hoog is involved. He obviously him and Bernadette were seen together. Bernadette's been out and about stealing gun plans, and one of the plans that Bernadette stole was the gun that killed the fairy. So it seems pretty, straightforward that would be the case. The other possibility is what Kenny mentioned, that maybe the the brownie leader, Madame Bondi, was trying to make a martyr out of herself, and in the process was trying to frame Hoog. And it just happened that her assistant got in the way, right? He kind of stepped up when someone was, I think, throwing rotten fruit or something, and got hit instead of her. This would make sense with the idea that these aren't brownies, right? What was it? I'm sorry, what were these again? The
Teus?
Yeah, and they can shapeshift, right?
Yes. Or
So-
shapeshift even better than, they have more of an affinity for it.
So I think we talked about the possibility that the Bernadette that visited the gun maker wasn't the actual Bernadette, maybe, and it was perhaps Madame Bondi herself in disguise in this,
Right,
and trying to set all that up.
The calling card wasn't left at that scene.
So I think that might be one way to go. Frederick obviously thinks it's Hoog all the way. He's all in on Hoog. But I'm, as a player, leaning more towards it maybe being Madame Bondi who set it up. But I don't know. Those are just some of my thoughts. As far as the police, I don't know, Dave, maybe you can remember. I don't know if I found out exactly why Dr. Ozan was doing that. I know that he was it because of the aggressions from Prussia, and he was trying to get the police sort of more militarized to stave off that aggression.
It was
I
an
think
experiment.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it. So if I didn't,
I remember that.
Yeah,
clearly.
Basically, he's using the police as his experimental subjects because he's then going to, if it works, he's going to go to the military to see if they were interested in, doing the same thing with their soldiers,
Okay.
So it's
overcome the natural aversion to killing the enemy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
for the
it's
French
hella
soldiers.
unethical, but he's self-justifying it as, for France.
Of course, with all these, super roided up police in Paris and the brownies kind of, starting to foment this sort of revolution, it could get really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in retrospect, we should have asked him how to undo it, maybe. Like, what's the cure? How do you snap him out of it? It didn't occur to any of us to ask him.
That would have helped, yeah.
Well, to be fair, he did just Zoidberg down the street and run away, so we didn't have a chance to do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I obviously the situation that we're involved has a lot of gravity to it. There could be we could be always on the verge of war in our reality, and then on top of that, the pact with the Unseelie court, is that right? That is also in jeopardy at the moment. How it all ties in, I have no clue. We could spend another year on this adventure, I think.
Well, I do think that we were doomed as soon as David believed that we took about 2 sessions per story arc. And so, of course, that's not going to ever happen.
We'll show
this
you.
is our adventure forever now.
I think we need to travel to the realm of fairy and get some eyewitnesses and
interview every fairy in the fairy realm.
That's the only logical.
Every single one.
All of them. One by one. I think if we actually confront Madame Bondi with perhaps that old adage of the best way to get the correct answer on the internet is to post the wrong answer, right? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So if we no, please go on. Someone, it's like a famous quote or something like that. Somebody said the best way to get the correct answer on the internet is to post the wrong answer.
Yeah.
And you get this slew of people correcting you with the right answer.
Of course.
Rather than asking a question, because fuck you, no one cares about you and your dumb question. but if you post the wrong answer, how dare you?
Yeah, but if they can slam dunk on you, then
totally,
right.
Yeah.
Similar vein, kind of reverse psychology, whatever. If we confront Madame Bondi with the wrong thing that we insist that she's done, she might break down and confess to what she actually did. So you murdered your friend to foment revolution and war, to violate the treaty and blah, 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 all this stuff because you're in cahoots with this other to profit from it and selling the weapons and all this kind of stuff, right? If we confront her with all of that, she might be more like, no, it was I that was to take the bullet. It was an accident. Michelle is dead. Oh, she might break down under that emotional duress and confess her actual crime.
I don't want this to devolve, but I'm 100% into that idea. And I think some of us need to have some cold iron on us. Breksta, look away.
Jade has 1,000-yard
How
stare.
dare you?
Yeah, I'm not saying we need to take it out and poke her with it or anything like that, but
I think I'm not clearly enough at saying cold iron
yeah, that's too much.
Overkill.
Just
it could just be regular iron, guys. You don't have to threaten her with permanent.
Yeah.
Like plutonium.
Yeah.
I think we need to bring this plutonium rod to the interrogation session.
If you want to make her just slightly uncomfortable, there are so many other.
Well, this is my thing: is that
we could just wrap her in blueprint paper or whatever.
I don't know what she's capable of. So she could disappear, turn into fog, anything like that, and it's well, there goes our.
So even if you remember in the first scenarios, right? It doesn't have to be cold iron. It can just be regular iron. That's also frustrating, debilitating, just downright confusing. It definitely
without being
makes
deathly.
It'll make everything harder. So in terms of trying to go incorporeal or, could cast a glamour, like regular iron will totally still do the trick without being completely offensive to me.
Okay,
On like a
fair.
fundamental
So,
level.
Like I said, I don't want it to devolve into being like torture or anything like that. But like if we need
I like
to,
how there's a but in that sentence.
all
though.
right, if we, I'm
This
just
is
saying,
like
if it needs to
24
be
being like,
done,
no guys, like torture's good, like for the right reason. This is
under the
Kiefer
Patriot
Sutherland
Act.
telling you.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
it is my
rolling in his
memory
grave.
that like towards the end of our fairy time in the camp, as like Haas is telling them all sorts of fun information about Hoog and the police and all sorts of stuff because he's
State
like,
secrets.
yeah, he's all misty over Bondi. I believe that Breksta is getting pretty seriously kicked out as she was screaming about the painting.
If you want her to be emotionally vulnerable and in a state of probably gonna fuck up, I think that I've really primed the stage for you to like swoop in and ask the hard questions, but not you, Haas.
Well, I was going to say now
Yeah,
Frederick
that's
is
fair.
fully in the camp of the protesters. So how does that affect things?
Yeah,
I guess we'll see.
Also, I
think-
don't think the rest of us know that yet.
yeah.
Also true.
Yeah, because we were all split up doing different things, so
Yeah.
we don't know that he's saying all this stuff. And
Oh, he's just
everything.
doing a great job keeping her
Yeah.
distracted.
We're like,
It's
wow,
like, wow,
this is
Frederick,
really
way to-
working. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
Frederick. So
if-
here are the blueprints.
effectively, Grant is MIA. So, like, whatever y'all do, I don't like blow in the conch shell and I'll show up. We need some walkie-talkies or something. Be like, Grant, somebody needs to be shot.
I mean, if you want a conch shell that we could talk into at each other, I could probably do that. That sounds.
I love that.
Yeah, that sounds doable.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Is it
I mean,
wacky?
News
Is
team.
I guess I
it
could go
watery?
back to the apartment and
Go for
ask
Frederick.
Potterfield to go find Grant because he'd love that. He'd love that.
Aren't we still in that neighborhood? I feel like we haven't like left yet. Like
Yeah,
No.
you're not
We're
too
all
far
still-
afield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're there.
Mm-hmm. All right. So so we have Frederick doing a mind meld with Danielle, and the two of you are really hitting it off. And so
Making a lot of sense.
I had just made my
Yeah.
ultra dramatic exit in the most like
That's right.
fabulous, noticeable fashion possible.
that's right.
you made quite the scene. So
I hope that
Recall.
Sarah would be proud.
Yeah. Is the camp talking about that? Are they like, who is this young woman who's swooning all over the place?
Oh yeah, no, it definitely caused a commotion. And so this is, it's kind of gotten people chattering, it's gotten things kind of riled up. And so Frederick, you're with Danielle, and she's saying, well, we must do something with this information. I must give a speech or something. I must get the word out. This changes everything.
I couldn't agree more. Whatever help you need.
Can you provide me with proof that this is happening? It will strengthen my case, because otherwise people will just say that I'm inventing wild stories.
I can try. I don't. Unfortunately, the doctor who is performing these procedures fled into the city, and I might have to. I might need a little time on that.
Well, at least he had the good sense to have a guilty conscience about these evil deeds. If I give you until, say, tonight, would that be enough time to locate him, or do you need longer than that?
I might be able to find him then.
Excellent. I shall hold off on making any speeches until I have heard back from you. But the faster you can bring this doctor or other proof to me, the better.
I will do it for the cause.
For the cause.
I say with dilated pupils.
Yeah. She's been showing you some YouTube videos. They make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's like totally like why haven't the Earth is totally flat?
Yeah, look, the evidence is overwhelming. All right. So, how about Iskander and Astrid then?
Well, I mean, I got from my potential future, like, brother-in-law, the information about how she did have a hand mirror at the speech, and how he thought that was strange and all that stuff. So that has been pretty well confirmed for me at this point. So I think, not knowing what's going on with Frederick, I would probably go over there to check in with him, especially since Breksta just got like ejected from the meeting and everything's all crazy. So, but I know Iskander was over with the Brawny boys. So,
Mm-hmm. Well, am I still hanging out with the hired hand security types? Is that where I left off? Because I thought that I had regrouped with people to go to our ultimate destination. So
yeah, I believe that we were kind of moving in that direction. Yeah, I think you'd sort of finished up with the hired muscle.
Right.
Okay.
So I was going with one group, but if there's mention of my gun plans, that's definitely where I would go. I think that's my highest motivation right now, is to try to retrieve those and see that they don't fall into the wrong hands. But we're also trying to solve this mystery with Madame Bondi. So if that's where everyone else was going, because we also got summoned to meet Frederick, and that's where we were headed, I believe.
no, Frederick's with us at the camp.
Oh, he's with us now. We made it there. Okay.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, that was the beginning of last session.
I don't feel like I missed a whole session, but
Time
I guess
is lost
maybe.
all meaning.
I don't know.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Things telescoped.
All right.
So, very good. So basically, I think we can just assume that you're all preparing to depart. Astrid, maybe you go to fetch Frederick, right?
Right.
You see Bundy sort of making her way back to her office, if you will, in the warehouse, right. And Frederick, I don't know, looking slightly chuffed maybe, or just sort of self-satisfied.
Oh yeah, he's got a little smirk on his face, and he's, looks like he's lost in thought.
Oh, Frederick, I've learned some information. I think we should probably meet back up, maybe at my apartment or something, and we can figure out what we all learned.
That sounds like a great idea. I have learned some stuff as well. Yes, let's meet up.
All right. And so I suppose I would also like motion to Iskander if he isn't already heading our way.
Yeah, I think I would be converging on you, having finished with the hired help, the hired muscle, the youths.
The youths. A few youths. All right. Cool. So yeah, you all make your way out of the camp and are heading back towards Astrid's apartment. Now, how about Grant? What's he up to?
I am currently I'm kind of probably off in one of the, just like some kind of alley or nook And I'm actually going through my spell books to see if there's anything that I might be able to do to help us out in our current situation. And I'm seeing some interesting stuff.
Your spell book, aka the rule book,
AKA the Castle Falkenstein PDF.
Yes. These tomes of wisdom.
Right. Is it convenient that they are searchable?
Excellent.
Yeah. So I'm looking through those. So you can come back to me in a moment.
That's fine. So how about Breksta then? After your unceremonious ejection.
Well, I am sure that having done fantastically well on my going ethereal, I would have taken that opportunity to just, leave. I think certainly I came and accomplished what I was looking to do, which was to really kind of rifle through her stuff and look for whatever secrets she might be harboring there. And then certainly to kind of, put her on edge and, take away that sense of ease, maybe. I think especially being martyred, playing the victim, might be real in some part of it, but I really can't wrap my little fairy head around, I don't know, like how she could be complicit in causing the, true death of her friend. So I'm sure that part of it is like coming from that like naughty little vengeful part inside of every fairy, just trying to like make her upset. So
yeah.
Having accomplished all of that, I think that whatever rendezvous point we had before sounds perfectly fine. I think otherwise we only had plans to go and see Bernadette tomorrow if possible.
Right. It's the hoop meeting tomorrow to try to set up a meeting with Bernadette.
Sure. So I think that really like that's in my mind, like, that's still the plan. And so going back to rendezvous to kind of figure that out for tomorrow.
Cool. But yeah, no, that's a good point. If the martyr thesis is true, then you would have to account for the fact that she was planning to shoot herself with a cold iron bullet, which would have been not just the death of her physical form, but the death of her entirely. So it would take a pretty extreme personality to pull that off. All right. So very good. If there's nothing else, then we can assume you've all met back up. Even Grant, having reviewed his spell books. And yes.
So when we get back together, I want to be like, all right. I know we've got a lot of fingers in the pot right now, so to speak. Is anybody, I pull out my spell books. I'm like, I got these damn things. And I'm like, I can do some stuff with them. Some of it a little less friendly than others.
Y'all remember the margarine safe?
We don't like to talk about that.
You can do some stuff, you say.
But I can do stuff like, I can like see beyond illusions and turn people invisible and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if any of that's going to be helpful. But if we do suspect, I do recall a suspicion that Bernadette and or Miss Bondi were under some kind of fairy glamour. I might be able to see through that, given the proper time and occasion.
Would we need to get them together?
Not necessarily. I just need to go see one, cast this spell, and go check them out.
Oh, okay. So you cast it, and then you go look at each individual. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think that's doable. I mean, to be honest, these spell books are quite vague, but I believe that's the nature of magic. To be, a little more fluid, a little loosey goosey.
Exactly. Like basically the spell gives you your core, concept, and then you build on that. So how many people do you want to, like, for example, the invisibility, you could be like, I can turn all of you invisible.
Right.
And you're just increasing the difficulty when you do that. So you're sort of choosing the variables based off that one core idea of how the spell works.
So I'm also kind of reverse engineering what I can and can't do. According to the Castle Falkenstein stuff, diamonds are associated with alchemy, which makes sense. And of course, so now I'm looking at the sorcery explanation PDF, and I'm basically looking at the ones that are aspect diamonds as kind of ones that I might be better at than others. If that's the case, I've got like an anti-magic shell, cause invisibility. I got charm. And charm is weird. It implants a suggestion. I'm incepting them, causing the subject to trust and feel friendly towards me. Create light and dark, obviously. I could just straight up disintegrate somebody if that's if we need to. I'm not saying that's a first plan of action.
It's a big leap from charm to disintegrate.
I just want to have both doors available. Could pass through walls, shield, etc. It's not a, and then I could whip up something custom, I guess. But these options, we have more tools at our disposal than I think we've been. For instance, Breksta, I know you can. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a goose pun. You've turned into a goose.
A real golden egg.
Yeah, you really did, didn't you? So I don't know. I mean, I think we can get creative and come up with a damn solution to this. We ain't getting overtime like the police.
I mean, it sounded like really for today there were the two main courses of action after having checked out the camp, which were going and investigating Bernadette, hopefully to get Iskander's plans back, and then you have a lunch date with Monsieur Hug anyways, and that might lead to one avenue or the other. So
yeah,
I think that kind of process of elimination before we have that, plan of action.
I'm going to ensure my meeting with Bernadette through Hug. I'm going to charm him. I'm going to use magic on him. And is that illegal? What are the laws like?
Probably.
Right. Yeah, this sounds illegal.
I could go to hell for this.
That which we call coercion by any other name.
Right, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to ensure my meeting with Miss Bernadette. And when I see her, if she's under some kind of fairy glamour, I will know.
Nice.
All right.
I think that's a cool idea. I mean, I am prone to assume that Bernadette is just evil. So, I mean, whatever. You can look at her if you want to. Just be careful.
Yeah, she could be Satan herself, as far as we know.
But I definitely would share with the group that supporters did see at the speech that Ms. Bondi had a hand mirror at the time that the shot rang out.
Do you mean this one? And I'm going to, out of my pocket, pull out the small hand mirror that I took from her desk.
Indeed.
Uh-oh.
Does it match the description of my bumpkin semi-lover?
Oh.
You're gonna go back and find him, aren't you?
Yeah. Have to add a character
What
thing for
is
him
app?
on the wiki.
What is app?
Yeah, right.
What is app?
What's his chaw? Yeah, so it does indeed match the description.
That's exactly how he described it. Where did you find it?
When I investigated Madame Bondy's office, it was secreted away in her desk.
How suspicious.
Sus, for sure. I don't trust any of these damn people. I gotta be honest. I want them all in jail. If this were America, buddy, if this were the frontier, you best believe somebody be walking away with a new pair of boots.
And then I guess since we're all sort of sharing stuff, Frederick, what did you find out? You were talking to her for quite a long time.
So Frederick already has his presentation ready to go. He's been working it on in his mind.
Make an impromptu pamphlet for us.
Yeah, I was thinking you'd have like some kind of little like thing you could set up, with like a step one, But he's he spills everything. He's so excited. He's new, fresh convert, so he's just like all about it. And he's actually been trying to having a conversation with Potterfield about it, trying to hey, so what do you think about this? But he's going to completely spill everything. You notice maybe that he's definitely doesn't seem himself and is a bit out of sorts and has done a full 180 from the moment you guys went into the fairy camp to coming out. So, he's gonna, he spills it. He spills that he thinks Madame Bondy is onto something with this movement. He reveals that he told her all about the police, and Dr. Ozan reveals that he has every intention of tracking down Dr. Ozan and trying to find some evidence, and furthermore is probably going to turn over all that Hoog paperwork if he has the opportunity.
Grant just takes his hat off and he looks at you, Frederick, and he says, I took you for a smarter man than that, Mr. Haas.
Yes, I also have taken you for a much smarter man than this. This is terrible, this idea. I think we should reconsider this course of action. As he kind of leans in closer to get a closer look at Frederick's eyes to see if he's drunk or stoned or something, because it seems very out of character for Herr Haas.
So I guess that's the question, Dave. Is it possible, even though it was just a straight fumble, that this is some sort of glamour that Frederick's under?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's just such a complete shift in his personality and everything. So is it possible that maybe maybe his pupils are very dilated, or he has kind of this very spacey look to him? He's kind of just staring off out in the distance.
Is it possible to snap him out of it without maybe having to have him spend the night at my house like the last guy? It's not going to go over well for Freddy.
No, he's not going to like that. But that's what I was going to say, is it maybe isn't even a case of a glamour. We know that Frederick is susceptible to the Fae folk. We know he's very susceptible. So, it could just be that you're just you're highly suggestible. But then now that you're out of that environment, maybe, somebody could talk you out of it, basically.
Yeah. Are we picking up that Frederick's got the hots for this? This woman, this lady?
It depends what you guys might be picking up different vibes. I think for Frederick, he's intellectually enamored with the ideas that she was talking about, and
right.
So he definitely he mentions her a lot in sort of a reverent fashion, but is mostly talking about these ideas that she has, which I'm assuming are kind of just her the same ideas that her movement has.
Grizzly's got to stand up and start walking towards the bar, and just remark.
Does Astrid have a bar in her apartment? She doesn't strike me as.
Do you got a liquor cabinet?
I think that I may have, knowing that Grant was coming over, on the table that I also use for dissection, I have set up what bottles of things I have.
Oh, okay, good. So I avoid
they,
the
like,
chloroform.
Pure
Yeah.
ethanol with like pins suspended in them.
Yeah, I was gonna say you went the
Yeah.
good host route. I was expecting like you have 90% ethanol as like a sterilization and preservative
Or I
type
was
of
imagining
Totally.
that you had
thing.
something like just like a sparkling rosé and that's it.
Right.
Yeah, I probably
That
wouldn't
seems
have
like
very
your
much of
personality.
anything, yeah. But yeah, what I have is out.
Okay,
And it's
so
got
You have
petals
the,
on and stuff like that.
You have the 1870 equivalent of a box of wine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I probably pick up like a few bottles of sterilization alcohol and things with like floating stuff in it, thinking it might be tequila, but it's not. And until I find something that's drinkable, the box of wine, if you will, and I pop it open and I take a swig and just kind of remark that Haas like sounds like you're enamored, pal. I and I don't think this is the path for you, sir.
So Dave, with my previous experiences, and my susceptibility to a Fey folk, what are the chances that out of that environment, now that I'm back, at Astrid's apartment and I'm surrounded by friends and everything, that I come to the realization that I was, definitely, it happened again,
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, not again.
Or I'm even imagining like sidling over to you and being like, "Oh, Frederick, not again."
What's again?
Like just patting your hands, like
Yeah. Katsubu
9.
appears and just starts
Every
like
time.
slapping you.
All right.
Yeah, Katsubu's disapproving look at me.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, Breksta, if you want to, try and kind of, in Pendragon terms, heal his melancholy. You
What
can
would I use
certainly
for that?
give that a shot. Yeah. I think charisma might be one, or
I could do charisma.
social graces.
Can you deal me a 4th card just so I can have a full hand?
Certainly, that's right. I was going to make sure everybody had a full hand, and I forgot. Okay. There you go.
Oh, holy crap. Cups, you say. Charisma, you say. So my charisma's great.
I do.
But bam.
Ooh, is that a king?
That's a queen.
That's a queen.
Maybe
All right.
That's fitting.
So
Yeah,
I think
right.
that I can manage to come over and like, now, Freddie, you always do this. We let you out of our sight for 5 minutes, and the next fairy you see just has you wrapped around their little finger, like tisk, tisk, tisk.
Uh-huh.
Don't you remember what happened at court last time?
Ooh.
Ooh, I'm imagining like, oh, what terrible, embarrassing things possibly have fairies gotten him to do to embarrass him for everyone's fun and entertainment in the Sealy court, I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, putting a tea cozy on your head and singing a little song, or
Acting out like some sort of embarrassing Shakespearean sort of monologue or something like that, but that's a very buffoonish, embarrassing character, but going all in on acting that out.
dressed like a little bunny or something like that.
Yep. One, like, they frequently had me perform one-man shows for them in very demeaning fashion.
Yeah,
and
they had love scenes somehow, but you were just had to act it out yourself, like the whole
it out with empty air, with the arms like this, and with obviously utter silence the whole time, no applause or laughter. So yeah, lots of memories flooding back to Frederick as he's remembering all of these events from his tenure.
You remember what happened last time at the court of Lady such and such, and this is the last time we leave you on your own around those Fae. You just can't help yourself, can you?
Maybe. Does anybody have anything that we can give Haas to make him less susceptible to these kinds of things? Some kind of
A partial lobotomy?
Like a helmet?
like a luck charm, or this is what I was kind of thinking, like a rabbit's foot
I
or
don't know
something.
if that what the absinthe was for. Does he just need to have a travel version of it at all times?
There's a little mini bottle.
Yeah.
Just swings it like as he like.
Yeah.
Just like a bandolier of little airplane bottles of absinthe.
you have a sugar packet that you just put on your tongue and then you swig the mini.
Yeah. Now his what's the word I'm looking for? His affection for the green fairy makes a little more sense.
Yeah. Like Breksta and Iskander were in the same boat where she's like a partial lobotomy and Iskander's like a stout slap or two. And then you start mentioning totems and similar. We're both like, right, yes.
Fixing the situation, not fixing Frederick.
All right.
makes
I
sense.
hear that you humans are really quite easy to,
You can do
Wonder.
marvelous things with an ice pick.
If we could just like implant a little bit of iron in his skull at the part of his brain that's like especially susceptible.
I would love to watch someone A, try to find that, and B, it'll give me just like a low-grade headache every time I'm around him.
So this is like the world's scariest intervention.
It really
Imagine that like
is.
Frederick is just seated there while everyone's surrounded with all these like terrifying
This
suggestions.
is what
as
it's
far-
come to, Freddie.
I believe I have the
Yeah.
exact tools necessary for such an operation in my toolkit in here somewhere.
I'm
I have my
sure,
slapping
yeah.
gauntlet.
I'm sure I could.
We could
devise
build a little robotic arm that
My God.
anytime he starts agreeing with a fairy, it just slaps him a little. Just a little. And
I
it's
could
with,
just,
with the cartoony glove on, right?
Yeah, exactly. I could just alchemy up your skeleton into cold iron, Frederick, and that ought to fix it.
Oh, I read a
Like a
story
really-
about that
That should
long
work.
ago. It's
That should
called
work.
like
Diplomatic Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Unless it goes, it backfires and my skeleton turns into margarine. Which
Ugh.
Oh, jeez. Anyways,
Yikes.
we
Now,
got. What are we
Freddie,
doing
have
here?
you learned your lesson?
yes,
What have I
Frederick
told
is
you?
quite terrified. So I think that counts, right? Like I think that kind of snaps.
Yeah.
him out
Oh,
of it.
that was a high success. So yeah, you are out. I mean, it's like suddenly it's one of those like, what the fuck was I just thinking?
Yeah, I'm imagining
What
he's
is
got his
going
head in
on?
his face in his hands, and he's just like elbows on his knees, just
Yeah.
oh, not again. What have I done? Oh, I told you so much.
I've done something
Oh,
horrible.
dear. Oh, perhaps you should implant the cold iron into my brain. Perhaps you should make my skeleton margarine. Oh,
Oh, now, Freddie. I
Oh,
know
the guilt.
ass guilt.
poor silly boy. It
Was,
was a mistake. I mean, it was your fault, but it wasn't your fault.
Right.
Oh, I should never have gone there. It was foolish.
We'll walk over to Haas and give him a drink of whatever the hell I'm drinking. And
I'll ask Astrid if she has any
formaldehyde?
bacon.
bacon.
Bacon. I
Are
have
you
heard
allowed
of.
to eat bacon?
I have heard of this concept. The Germans enjoy that when they are sad, they eat bacon. I believe it's Kämmerspeck.
That makes so much sense. I
Check
I
really
feel
out.
this may soothe him. I don't know how I recall this from. Somewhere perhaps in my travels between my origin and this fabulous town.
I'm
City.
looking around
City.
Astrid's apartment, and I'm like, I don't know that I'd trust
Oh, yes,
anything in
no.
here to put in my mouth.
If bacon will make him feel better, then let's get him bacon. Iskander, that's a wonderful idea. Freddie, do you want some bacon?
Maybe just a little.
I think there is a small cafe nearby that has late night breakfast foods, like some sort of Waffle House or something like that. And we can
Waffle.
go there and we can get some bacon and then be
Awesome.
ready for going to bed. So in the morning we
Is
can
it
go
like-
to the Hoog meeting.
Yes,
Donnies?
that would be nice.
That's great. In your distress, you like revert to like full on German. Vielleicht nur ein bisschen.
No doubt there are, late night cafes and saloons and bars that you can hit up for sure. This is Paris after all.
Although, to be fair, I probably would have bacon just because, I mean, for those of you that don't know, Swedish people freaking love waffles. So I'm sure I have breakfast food. Like, there is a national holiday in Sweden for waffles. It's a crazy time. So,
And you could probably use bacon to patch up Potterfield too, right?
Oh yeah, like it just needs a little bit of flesh in there. Ooh, it smells smoky and delightful.
I was thinking that maybe you have a couple of, I don't know, boxes or beakers or something, or bags. One says bacon and one says spare Potterfield parts, and then you pick them up and the signs fall off and then you drop them and one of these will do.
Potterfield is no longer kosher. Well, yeah, let's get out of here and go to Der Waffle House, and we'll figure out what our move is for the morning.
Now, Frederick, do you intend to follow through on finding Dr. Voisin and bringing him to Madame Bondi or any other evidence that she requested?
I do not. I am feeling quite guilty, and actually the opposite. I definitely want to distance myself from that, all those promises and whatnot.
That's understandable, but can we not leverage that to our advantage somehow?
Possibly, but I think Frederick's probably not the right person for the job. He's
fair.
Yeah, he's a little too easily influenced.
All right. Any other? So you've got the lunch with Hoog, and you want to try and get in touch with Bernadette. Any other goals?
Before that, did we want to confront Madame Bondi, or did we want to just wait for the lunch with Hoog and Bernadette?
Does anybody want to go to the meeting with Hoog with me?
Yes.
Okay. Whoever wants to go can go. I think, yeah, right. Iskander and Astrid maybe wanted to go.
I definitely would want to be in the vicinity if you were able to set up a meeting with Bernadette, because I feel like I'd be able to recognize if it was really her or not.
Okay.
But for the meeting with Hoog, I'm okay with being there, not as it pleases you. I have no special interest in talking to him.
Okay. Doesn't make any difference to me. I just want to know who's trying to roll. And but I do think Iskander's idea of just going up to Bondi and being like, "We know what you done. Go ahead and tell us," and blah blah blah. I think that's as solid plan as any.
I mean, she has the fear in her right now too. So with my apartment being so close, I could make it part of my duties, especially during the Hoog meeting and such, to kind of keep an eye on what's going on at the camp and if she's doing anything suspicious. See how she's responding to everything Breksta was yelling in the camp and stuff like that.
Or just make 2 stops. Stop by her place in the morning and then head to the lunch afterwards.
True.
J'accuse in the morning and lunch in the afternoon.
I'd say let's do it. Let's start making moves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I get my gun out. And
that's another thing I was going to say. Like,
start loading it with cold iron bullets.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be like, steel itself. So right. I feel like, that's going to be sufficient, I think, to cow any fairy, or at least discomfit them, based on Jade's revelation that, like, look, cold iron's the nuclear option, just regular iron. Like, get
Right.
the job done. Don't
But
go overboard.
well, I guess my hesitation, my wanting to go cold iron, is because I remember when I shot Breksta, and she didn't seem to care much.
Well, that was lead, though. So
Okay,
I don't
fair.
think that would have really.
Yeah, the
I
gun
mean-
itself is actually, good old fashioned pistol whipping would actually
Oh,
be.
that's what I was gonna say. Okay,
Yeah.
just pistol
Right.
whipper. Okay,
The
fair.
gun itself,
Pistol
just even
whip.
being nearby or, being in close proximity would probably have a very discomforting effect, from what I understand.
It's really distracting at the very best. So
Right. David, let me
want
ask you
her to
this.
just feel
Yes.
incapacitated.
That's exactly what I want. I want her to feel capacitated and distracted. David, what kind of magic or success level would I need to be able to pull off a spell like near instantaneously?
Well, you mean to cast it near instantaneously or to have an instantaneous effect?
To have an instantaneous effect. Like if I wanted to take all of the like nails out of the floorboards and create like an impromptu I don't know, like cage of iron around a fairy, perhaps.
Certainly.
You monster.
I know. I trust me.
I'm not proud of it.
I'm not proud. I've done terrible things, Breksta. Here's my biography.
Oh, yeah.
But what would I need to do that kind of thing?
Well, so actually, let's see here. Let's go to the magic section, which is somewhere. Let's see. Let me find it here. Because basically, as far as having something go off right away, that shouldn't be. It always goes off as soon as you raise enough magical energy. Now, how long it lasts, that's the variable, right? So I'm trying to remember if there is a way to kind of hurry your energy gathering or not. I think it's basically just like that's where harmonics come in, because you're just putting cards into play as you pull them. You don't really care what the suit is. But yeah, let me just try and get to the sorcery section here. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, you can do sorcery duels. Forgot about that. That's cool.
Put that on the list.
That's right. We've had a mesmerism duel. Now we need a sorcery duel.
That's right. Yeah, I want to. Who duels in Harry Potter? I want a Harry Potter duel with somebody.
All right, so you define the duration of the spell, its complexity, its range of effect, number of subjects affected, subject's natural resistance to sorcery, and your familiarity with the subject of the spell. You must have a duration, complexity, range, number of subjects, level of resistance, and familiarity, and then missing values filled in. Okay, next step is to gather power required, and that is equal to your thalamic energy requirement minus the value of your sorcery ability, yes. And then when an amount equal to or greater than the total energy requirement. So you could actually, there we go. Okay, so you could actually have a more or less instantaneous spell if the thalamic energy requirement minus your sorcery ability of good equaled 0 or like 1, So let's look at this example here. You're trying to transmute nails into prison bars, essentially.
Essentially, maybe even like without her, like maybe like behind her or above her, somewhere where she may not see it immediately, but it's just kind of like, my head is swimming right now and I don't know why, but really it's Grizzly Grant playing in the background.
Who put Grizzly Grant on the speakers?
Right.
On the PA.
It should never be on the PA.
No. All right. So let's see. 2, 4, 6. Subjects affected. That's 7. Okay. Subject is fairy. Uh-oh. That makes it 9. And then let's see. you barely know the subject, that would be 11. Yeah, no, it's looking like it will not be instantaneous.
Damn. Okay.
Sadly.
There's another reason. Grant would never say this while Breksta's around, but he has a growing distaste for fairies.
Oh dear.
We are delightful, first of all, and second of all, how dare you?
Well, just like I said, he would never say it while Breksta's around. He does like Breksta, but they're too tricksy. They're hard to manipulate.
You mean we are too fun?
Well, yeah, that also. Grant's not a very fun person.
Yeah, he hates fun.
That's true.
All right. So,
This
yeah.
cantankerous little bastard. His
We're
odd
back
years.
in my day.
All right.
All right. Well, yeah.
Yep. So you can try it. It's just it's gonna take, your usual the usual fun time. Let me draw cards from the deck. Each
Yeah.
card represents 2 minutes, et cetera, et cetera.
Ugh.
And turn the building into I don't know, a honey baked ham or something.
God. It just disintegrates some random NPC nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I feel like you'd have to bring source material with you too. I just can't imagine a bunch of fairies staying in a building like lousy with all that iron. It would
Yeah. Well,
have to be either accommodatingly built or they would change it or something.
I didn't
stay
anticipate doing that in the fairy camp. I'd rather lure them out to an area that's more advantageous for us,
Hmm.
I don't want to get ganked by a bunch of fairies who are like, who's this mortal, casting spells at our leader?
That's a good point.
Well, all right.
Okay, but in the morning, did we decide that come morning we're gonna march straight to Madame Bondy's abode or the temporary digs, demand an audience, shake some accusations at her, see how that plays out, and then off to a fun lunch with Monsieur Hoog.
I'm gonna totally fall back on the. I'll be there for the fairy interrogation, but I'm letting you lead the way on that, Iskander. Unless anybody else wants to yell at this fairy, but I think Iskander's probably.
I mean,
Yeah.
not
Good for the job.
necessarily. No, this is like my idea, but I don't know that I would necessarily be the person to be making these impassioned accusations.
Well,
I
it
think
clearly
Frederick
can't
couldn't
be
do it.
Frederick or I.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
got to
mean,
be you. It's got
got
to
to
be
be me or
Iskander.
Astrid, right?
And Astrid doesn't want to do it. Astrid is, bless her heart, she's not the most intimidating.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
alright.
saying?
I could choke slam her, but I don't really have an interest in doing that.
I
And I
would watch
can be
that.
nice to her.
Continuing with
Those
the
are the two.
24 theme,
I'll tombstone her, and
Yeah.
well,
I've got physique and charisma, so I can be real nice or real mean, but in a physical way. That's pretty much it.
I could. I don't want to. I could also alter your size or shape, Iskander, or if you wanted, I could turn your fists into iron or something, so you. I don't know.
No.
Into iron.
Just visions of margarine safes dancing around my head.
didn't
Like
say
no.
I didn't.
No.
You don't
We.
know.
I didn't tell anybody about
Yeah.
margarine safe. Did
I
you,
am
Haas?
certain that Frederick told everyone.
He
I
did
feel
not.
like we all
This
knew about
yet.
that, but I guess not.
Okay, good. No. No one knows about
Yeah,
margarine
we just
safe.
know
Your
that
secret
greasy
shame.
papers were obtained from the factory.
All right. Yeah.
We don't know why they were greasy.
It happened, and I turned around and looked at Haas, and I was like, "Not a word. Don't tell the elf."
I thought that Astrid was in the hallway though when you leapt out and told Monsieur Hoog, the fairies, they turned your safe into butter and stole your stuff.
But
That
I
is
didn't see
not sentient
the
butter.
horror that it was.
Fair though, I
I'm-
recall that there was banging on that door.
Oh yeah, no, there
There
was
was-
much.
That's a secret that
drama.
will not be kept for forever.
No,
Why, Father? Why did you create me?
Yeah,
Why do
I'm
I feel
sure-
pain?
yeah. I'm sure if you, I'm sure if you hound Grizzly about it, or Haas, old loose lips Haas over there probably let it slip eventually.
In any case, I don't think it's something that I would be interested in. Just I was there when you alchemied your rifle out of the roof of the train car, which was awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
But such an operation being applied to my person is quite horrifying.
We'll save that for the final boss. when I turn you into a spiked ball of cold iron or whatever. Breksta, look away.
Spike ball of cold iron that you then like serve up like a volleyball.
Totally. I've made Astrid the size of a building, and she wields you like a spiked flail.
Suddenly, this has become an anime.
We're all in giant robots, and
You're all shouting at each other.
All right. I mean, if I'm the only person who can confront Madame Bondi with this tactic, then I'll step up and do it.
yeah,
Sure.
it's like I would threaten her because I have charisma, but I don't have cards for it right now. I would literally only have stuff for physical, so I can only throw people or things.
All right. Now, how many people are going? Is everybody going, and like people are just kind of hanging around the background?
I'm
I
gonna go
don't-
for sure.
I don't want to be involved in like a negative happening at the ferry camp because, especially since it's so close to my house, I want to still be able to have that interaction if we need someone in there. Especially since I very publicly came to her aid at the shooting. I think I still have a positive aura, so I don't want to ruin that right now.
I could
Sure.
alter your form. I know everyone's scared of being turned
Oh
into
my
living
God.
butter.
I mean, to be fair, I could also alter
I've got
their
magic. I want to use it.
I could alter your appearance without changing your fundamental structure. Just saying. If you
I'm not
want,
gonna break you
I'll-
down into meat and blood and then rebuild you.
you say that, and yet,
You say that now.
wizard man.
Yeah, until you have a little muscle
Potterfield
spasm.
Jr.
Yeah. Oh, that's how Potterfield ended up that way. It was
That's-
Grant all along. It's quiet this whole time.
Astrid, we need to team up. Apparently, I know the shortcuts to your science.
I might also point out that Madame Bondi is not yet aware that Frederick is no longer under her influence and would surely
Right.
respond to, anything he might ask.
Mm.
If
kinda
you're
what I was
concerned
saying
about
earlier.
her being amongst her people, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. But I don't want to give a beer to somebody and recover here or whatever. Like I don't want Frederick to.
True.
lose his
You don't want to put
mind.
him in the line of fire. Yeah.
Oh, right,
Well-
exactly.
He doesn't have to be there. He can just send a letter.
We could deliver a letter. There you go.
You
Mm.
could, rather than going to the camp, have Frederick ask her to meet him somewhere away, saying that it needs to be secret. And surely, if he was such a willing
Yeah.
confidant before, then
Wait,
That's
I don't
brilliant.
think that she would suspect.
That's super smart.
I'm gonna make
I like
me.
that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
make me look like Frederick.
There you
Oh,
go. Change
there
your own form.
That's right.
Experiment on
Guinea pig
yourself.
on us. Damn.
I have no problem becoming sentient margarine.
Goes with the territory, right?
Comes with the I know.
Got me through high school.
If you
Right,
turn
it was my
into
nickname.
a pile of butter,
Yeah,
will
margarine.
sadness eat you while you roll a new character.
That's
There
right.
we go. Now we're
Yeah.
talking. All right.
That's the real secret of this scenario is that butter sculpture at the bar started out as a sorcerer.
It's that's a future Grant for sure. If I just turn into margarine, y'all are just playing with margarine Grant. I don't.
Oh man, I just love the idea of like Grant turning himself, like changing his form to look like Haas, and then going in with the most like comic accent, like.
Oh,
But she
man.
doesn't notice because she doesn't know humans that well, maybe or
Right,
something. But he's like,
right.
I think that sounds
hello
like
there.
Oh, hello. With an A.
Yeah, it's like some Hogan's Hero reject, you know.
Totally.
All right. Well, let's see here. So you would be casting an illusion, right? Unless you want to actually transmogrify your body to be like Frederick, but I assume you want to go with an illusion.
So, well, let me before I answer that. what are the odds?
Oh, so now you have reservations.
No. I want to know. I have no reservations. I will transmute myself to bones and blood and then rebuild myself in Haas's image.
Oh, damn.
But before I do that, if I do an illusion, I would even ask Breksta this. What are the odds that she'll be able to see through it?
Well,
Like, can fairies be like, hey, this guy's got a magical aura that I didn't sense before, or his shadow looks like a cowboy's?
I think that it kind of
That would be
depends.
awesome, by the way.
I
would be
think
awesome.
that, for instance, my ability to detect those things has been a matter of my perception, which is really very good.
Mhm.
And especially for a fairy who is part of the race that is known for shapeshifting, yeah, she might have a higher barometer for that than others. Who's to say? Because you won't be doing it the way that she would do it.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I know that when I have been kind of making checks, as you will, for detecting like magic or those other sorts of fey type things, it's just been a matter of perception.
I do recall. Kenny recalls. I believe last session she made a perception test, and she had excellent perception.
Hmm.
I mean, we might be better off just sending someone who is Frederick's valet. I mean,
that's not a bad idea. It's not as exciting, but
Well, especially if Frederick tells
you
her
could
in his-
transmogrify yourself into a valet. So,
now we're
it's the
talking.
waistcoat and the little gloves.
That's right.
I mean, Frederick could certainly say that perhaps things have become dangerous, and so as not to draw suspicion on himself, he is sending a trusted colleague to deliver that information to her.
A confidant.
I
So
feel
that
like
you
as
Don't have to look like her.
as suspicious as she is, she might be less than forthcoming. Like if I sent Grizzly, transmogrified Grizzly, with like a sack of the papers, those papers that we transcribed from Hoog, as like, not necessarily that you give them to her, but that you have something there to work with, I think we might be able to get a lot of information out of her.
I'm into that. I'm into that idea. I say we, in America, we'd be rolling the dice, but in here, I guess we're playing the cards.
There you go. Play the hand that's dealt you.
That's right. And in this case, it means melting myself into a puddle and coming back as Frederick Haas.
P1000 style.
Totally.
I mean, all of
So,
that being
yeah.
said, I was going to say, Iskander was the one who kind of had this idea to confront her in the first place, and he is not only physically threatening, but also well-spoken. And so he might be kind of like a very appropriate foil. He's kind of conspicuous. She probably saw him at the camp yesterday, but that might add some credibility to his trustworthiness as an associate of Frederick's.
I agree, but I think Iskander is rather hesitant about the whole ordeal. And I look at Iskander. No. You don't even. I think you could just show up as you are, unless you want me to make you a tie or something.
We could like have you like in the drop point, and then we're all just like hiding.
I could turn all of us into barrels.
Oh my god.
Good
That
night.
count as a TPK if we don't ever come back from being barrels.
Yep. That would be the best TPK ever, though. So
Really would. You're welcome.
You live out the rest of your existence as barrels.
sentient barrel.
Sentient barrels with no ability to communicate.
Then we could Voltron together into like a big barrel like thing.
Now we're talking.
Awesome.
No, Nazi pickles, Nazi pickles.
Not again. Yeah, I'm fine with, I mean, I'm going to leave it up to Iskander. I'm just saying, if Iskander doesn't want to go yell at this fairy lady and tell her that we know what she done and she better, fess up or whatever, I am okay with, Zordoning myself into some kind of form and going and pretending that I'm Haas's valet on a secret mission to, blah, blah, blah. And I know quite a bit about Monsieur Hug that I might be able to barter with her for information or something. I don't know.
I feel like a hybrid approach is probably best. You as a trusted valet delivering the goods in Frederick's absence would get us in the door, I think.
Right.
Would get us to our target. And then once we're there, then I can j'accuse.
I can transform and look like a thug and go try to jump her, and then you come out and you beat me up and I run away and you've saved her life. Now she has to trust you.
It's so complex.
Yeah. I think I like that plan.
First we build a rocket ship, and then we launch ourselves, build a colony on the moon.
Yes.
This is a great scheme.
That's right. Once we have space technology at our disposal, we'll be able to simply spy on the fairy.
I'm going to need a bushel of onions, an ermine, and a golden spoon.
Right.
If you really want to use magic, I know you're going to charm Hug, but how difficult would it be to charm a fairy? I mean, I assume as a fairy, it's automatically harder, but to be we know what you did last summer sort of thing.
Well, considering my magic, the difficulty went up quite a bit. I mean, I could do it. I'd probably just have to be hiding in, Iskander, who I've turned into a barrel, and I'm hiding within him, casting the spell.
Right. You have to be 1 second.
All right. Yeah. It's keep in mind, it took me like 10 minutes to yank down to make it seem like I was yanking down that Zeppelin. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to do that.
How about this? Finally being serious now. Okay. Let's get a chest of reasonable size, right? And this will ostensibly contain the papers and the things that she asked for from Frederick. And
so the guy, it will ostensibly contain the guy he was supposed to find.
No. Just the papers and documents and stuff like that. That he's still, obviously he's not going to be a person in there. It's just going to be the effects that she asked for. And it turns out that there's a lot more of it or whatever. Plus the guards at the door or whatever wouldn't necessarily be privy to the machinations, the finer machinations of their mistress's, carryings on. So this is the prop. This is the MacGuffin that we're bringing her as a delivery from Herr Haas. And Brant is the valet of Haas with a letter of introduction or what have you, and written by Haas to say, I can't come myself bringing you this to, as discussed and so on and so forth. And I'm just there to carry it because it's a big chest. And that's how we're going to get in to have our audience with Madame Blondie. And then once we're in the door, then that's when the jig will be up and I'll confront her about her crimes. The only missing puzzle piece is what is my or else? We know you've done this and that and the other thing. Now, confronted with this information, you must A or we will B. What's A and B in that equation?
Well, I don't know what A is. And you guys might think that B means shooting her with a bullet, but it right now it is not. It is actually we turn her over to the police for conspiracy to commit murder.
Have all these charges trumped up, I think. So I'm laying out all of these things that we're accusing her of.
She knows the cops are mesmerized to be anti-fairy right now anyways.
Hmm.
So we can just be like, or we're just going to go to the police and we've got conspiracy to commit murder against Miss Yorhug. And, the police are going to believe it because, they're looking for an excuse to get rid of you right now.
So what do we want her to do ultimately? What am I trying to get her to do?
Confess.
Pray her
confess
co-conspirators.
Think if that's the route you're going to go, we need to know who is involved.
Yeah, I want to know what she knows about the assassination, what she knows about Miss Yorhug, and what she knows about Bernadette. And if she doesn't know about any of that stuff, I don't know. I feel like we can't just be like, all right, see ya.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about this. And we'll see you next time,
Oh, well,
scone.
don't I feel sheepish? Pardon me. I'll see myself out.
As I turn you into a sheep.
Oh, shit. Now, Jade, wasn't your original suggestion to invite Bundy,
out somewhere.
And away honestly, from the camp?
I felt like having, it under the guise of her meeting Frederick would probably make her the most amenable. I know that Frederick is probably feeling vulnerable, but certainly in such close quarters and with uneven numbers perhaps between he and his companions and Bundy, he would be less susceptible, especially now that he knows he's been so heartily duped, because I really was able to, with that high success, snap him out of it.
That is a much better plan.
Because having some subtlety like 1,000,000%
better.
Where she comes out and feels secure and is perhaps thinking she is among friends, is more likely to share some of that information, where if it's a mistake, an honest, genuine misapproximation on our part, there's more of a cover there, possibly. And if it seems like it really is going the route that it is, then yes, it's like, haha, we have you in our our snare kind of a thing.
Do we just invite her to somebody's apartment, or do we try to find like a neutral ground?
Probably, secure just a room.
I think that
like an interview with a vampire.
Even if Frederick isn't there, he's a diplomat. He absolutely has access to secure places, does he not?
Like a safe house kind of situation, or some sort of
like the
equivalent of like a seedy motel somewhere.
Yeah,
I think
co-working space type of thing. I think
in terms of, and that's my assumption, but I think, being a diplomat, his connections would certainly afford him some amount of discretion, right?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds possible, right, Dave? That I would have access to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, Frederick's game for this. He's definitely nervous, doesn't trust himself, but he's willing to go along with it.
If you start getting really nervous and things go south, Freddie, just offer to pay her or something.
Just start throwing
Give
money
her
at her.
some socks.
So is this kind of like a, he's wearing a wire sort of thing where you're all going to be in the room next door?
You have a conch shell.
And if things go wrong, I just like blow into the conch shell. Bondi's like, why are you doing that?
As you're being disintegrated.
It's just an Austrian tradition. When we make friends.
You have a conch shell in your lapel that you speak into. I've been exposed. Get in here.
Yeah, this is
like a full-size conch shell, it's the size of a 10-pound turkey, on his lapel. I feel like, given that this is Paris after all, so the room would probably be divided by French doors or something like that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We would be maybe in the other room.
I thought you were just going to argue that a conch shell on the lapel would be fashionable in Paris.
Yeah, that too.
All right, well, I think we can do this. So what is Frederick's goal here? Is it to get a confession, or is it just to get her comfortable and then have everyone kind of jump out? And
I would say it's to get her there, and then it's the meeting is a subterfuge, and that's where we ambush her.
Although I certainly think that if you're able to get, that sort of like confidence right?
If you could pull it off, by all
Especially,
means.
I think that if you were really so fervently invested and gave up all of this really sensitive information, you could probably, I mean, you are a diplomat. I think that being able to weasel it out of her, some sort of, reciprocal kind of, tit for tat kind of a thing wouldn't be that hard.
I just am so hesitant about having Haas interact with this person at all. Who knows?
That's
Be
what I'm
there
saying
this
is like
time.
having
Be
him not
there.
by himself, like have someone else in the
Yeah.
room, like, oh, this is my, cohort or my valet or something like that. Don't have him alone in the room with her.
Right.
Right.
Just to, I mean, if we wanted to complicate this plan to make Grant/Kenny feel better about using magic, what if he transmogged Astrid to look like Bernadette, and we just see if she reacts to Bernadette being there as Frederick's valet?
I like it.
Interesting. Also, I'm not so hard up about using magic, but it does sound like fun. However, I think that's a very interesting approach, or at the very least, like making you look like Bernadette and have you appear at the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, either way, because at least if there's like legit no reaction that we can perceive with our
Right.
collective percepciones, then we're like, okay, maybe it's not a thing. But if she's like, oh shit, or if she tries to talk to me or something like that, then we can be like,
Plus, you know Bernadette well enough, Astrid, that you could probably passively, behave in the same approximate manner. I mean, it might certainly make you vomit a little bit on the
Yeah.
inside. However,
figured it would probably be a lot of like,
I
but
can't
yeah.
believe I'm doing this. Dear
Yeah.
diary, I betrayed myself today, but for the greater good. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is a great plan, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Okay, so just to review, in the morning, you're going to dispatch Frederick's valet to summon Madame Bondi to come to Frederick's safe house. At the safe house, Frederick and a transmogrified Astrid will be waiting for him. In the next room, behind some, curtained French doors, the rest of you will be waiting for the signal.
Waiting and listening. Yeah,
waiting and
for
listening.
trouble.
You're going to see if Bernadette being there is sufficient to spook Madame Bondi or like give you some kind of indication she knows who this is, which will be kind of a sign, a tip-off that maybe something's going on that's fishy. But at any rate, from that point, the accusations can fly, and then you'll just see what happens.
Yeah, we'll wing it after that, and then afterwards, we'll go to the bank and I'll invest into Monsieur Hoog's business.
That's right, and possibly meet the real Bernadette.
That's right.
An hour and 45 minutes later, we have a plan.
Jeez
for this
Louise.
session.
Yes. All right. Good job, everybody. All right.
So this
So
plan,
getting
if it
faster.
falls, fine. If not, the sword.
yeah, you're,
Yeah, I've got
if
a
not,
gun.
we burn
so-
down Paris.
I think we should bring that mirror with us too.
Oh,
Yes.
I was gonna say, should we? Yeah,
Brilliant.
does she know the mirror's gone? And B, even if she does or doesn't, does she want it back, or do we use it as evidence against her?
We
Like,
don't
give it
know
to-
that she's aware, but she did go back to her office after.
right.
I left
Yeah.
something
Oh,
that looks like it.
oh,
We'll
that's right.
see if she
Okay.
You
notices.
Indiana Jones did. I forgot about
Nice.
that.
It was
You
probably
stole-
like a wad of like, I don't know, leaves or something.
Okay,
yeah.
that might.
It was-
There's our.
It looked pretty good.
There's our initial, like we show her the mirror, and then we have like a postcard of the painting in the Louvre, and we're like, care to explain yourself, Missy?
Let's go ahead and like try the whole ruse first and then see if that's actually necessary.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
But perhaps, I don't know, Iskander, since you were potentially the one doing the confrontation, maybe I'll give you the mirror.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
Yeah, you can bring it out.
I can burst out if necessary.
ah,
Yeah, Kool-Aid Man through the
Right.
Oh yeah,
make sure you wear your finest red shirt.
there you go.
Okay.
All right, yeah, this sounds like a great plan. Let's do it.
No, but
Let's look at what it
make
takes
so.
for Grant to transmogrify Astrid.
Astrid, I need you to sign this waiver.
Okay. I trust you completely. I know you would never do anything to harm me.
That's
You are
right.
my friend.
And I'm taking my time. I want to make sure
All right.
that Astrid is comfortable, at
Mhm.
ease, and that I'm not breaking too many bones. This is basically, just like an illusion. But I want to make it a good one. I want to be able to make an illusion of Astrid and then be like, Breksta, check it out and see, and Breksta is like my quality control. She's like QA. And if she is like, nah.
Now, to be fair, I've never seen Bernadette, I think. And so
Right, but-
whatever you come up with, I'll be like, that's pretty good.
Well, like I
can
said, like if you
describe her in
see like,
excruciating detail. So
all
it's
right,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
Do you
you-
have like a
Ooh.
hate locket with a picture of her?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you still carrying a picture of the two of you?
Yeah.
Like from
Oh.
a photo gallery you
From
went
the
to
bottom
one
of
time?
your trunk, it's like
Yeah.
the photo ripped in half.
Right.
Oh,
I'm like,
there you go.
here's the half you need.
She doesn't actually have black X's over her eyes, though.
All right.
Don't do that part.
Like I said, like if I just want to make sure it's like as close to fairy proof as I can get, like
Right.
I said, like earlier, like if her shadow is Astrid's or if she actually just looks like a black and white photo with X's over her eyes or, whatever
Well,
Breksta
hopefully you would be
sees.
able to tell, Grant, if those things are off too.
I don't have the fairy eyes.
Yeah, he wants
so
to make sure that it's fairy proof as well.
I will
Right.
scrutinize. I will scrutinize.
Scrutinize
In fact, I'm
for
excited. I'm
me.
like setting myself up like in a nice chair as though you're like performing
Totally.
for me. I have
Yeah.
like a snifter waiting.
To be fair,
How you
as
do, little wizard?
Astrid, I have never seen one of Grant's spells go wrong. So
That's right. You have total faith in me, I would like to say. Haas, turn.
Sweating profusely.
Yeah.
At
The
this
last time
point,
it went so
though,
wrong. So
Haas
very wrong.
sweating and seeming nervous does not, make me feel alarmed in any way.
Yeah, that's like
True.
his
Yeah.
just,
It's always
yeah.
a little damp.
Just, Haas, he
You'll
gets
find a shade
sweaty
of green.
sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So again, taking my time. We're not in a rush. I just
right.
want to make sure that this, probably, how long do you think we should make this last? Like 2
That was
hours?
my next question. You can do up to 30 minutes. You can do an hour, or you can do a day, or you can do a week.
Ooh, how long do you think you can stomach being Miss Bernadette?
I think to be safe, we probably want to do it for the day, right? We don't want to be like, oh, meet us at this time, and then she doesn't show up at the right time, and I'm all like, blah, 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 blah,
I would
and then
agree. Plus, if she,
detransmog.
and if she has anybody follow you, at least you'll remain through the appearance throughout the day.
Yeah.
We just have to make sure that you don't do anything to Astrid and that you stay as Bernadette as possible.
I will try to do my best to be like, oh, hair flip.
That's uncanny.
All right, so I'm just adding this up here. 10, 11. You personally don't know the subject. So
Correct.
yeah. All right. Okay, so we need 14 points worth of wands. I think it would be wands, right? I mean, an illusion is affecting the physical senses. What do you think?
All of the like glamour and etherealness and shape-shifting I have are wands.
Okay.
There you go.
Sounds legit. Okay, so
Does
I need
it help at
to-
all that he's actually seen her before? Because he has.
I have seen her before.
It does help because actually there's an even worse one than doesn't know the subject at all.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you do get into like the uncanny valley.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
right.
You just got those dead eyes. You got the Zuckerberg eyes going on.
So
All right.
Zuckerberg. Okay.
All right. How did we do last time? Was I drawing or were you drawing?
Yeah, you draw one at a time because as
Okay.
soon as I get the prereqs,
And then
it
we
goes
just
off.
fear the whole time.
We fear,
Alright.
we sit in suspense and
Quietly sweating. All right.
quietly sweating the whole time, except for Haas, who's hyperventilating.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what did I say? You need 14?
I believe so.
Okay. 14 wands. What the hell is this? What did I just draw?
That is
The Hermit. Oh, good. We're right out the gate with a fucking major arcana.
I'm butter already.
sick. I'm butter
You
already.
wish you were butter.
I know, for real. Wait, can I play cards from my hand?
No.
Okay.
Sadly,
Okay.
no.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the sorceress version here. All right.
Holy shit.
Hands unsteady.
I don't
Yeah.
Butter
Well, he looks
like-
friendly.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah, I don't know that I have these rules, so I'm.
Le Hermite. All right. Oh, this is a good one, actually.
Ooh.
As the sorcerer gathers power, they are possessed by an insight into the nature of the spell. Treat their sorcery skills that were a rank higher and recalculate the cost of the spell. So you go from good to great. That makes the
Phenomenal.
cost 12 instead of 14.
Okay.
Oh,
all
we're-
right. All right.
We're golden. We're
Yep.
like margarine gold.
All right. Oh my God, another one. All
Oh.
right.
Well, spoke too
Hanged.
soon.
Oh God,
All
hanged
right.
man.
Le Pendu. All right. That's probably not as good.
Yeah. I
That's a
see
positive
things in
card.
it. I see things in it.
No, did I butter? Did I butter?
No,
David
no.
has his head in his hands.
Oh no, I just read it. I'm not going to say it, but I just read
No. What happened?
The Hanged Man. The spell warps and becomes a new spell entirely. The host decides what form the new spell takes.
Why? Why?
it. I
Why
tried to
must
warn
you
you.
be
I
so
tried.
cursed? All right, well, I think the obvious and most fun one
No,
is
not
that it
again, not
warps.
again.
It warps and becomes a physical transformation rather than just merely an illusion.
Oh,
So you
I
are
like
physically
that.
being transformed into Bernadette.
Okay.
I'm like, this is working.
Yeah, that was the
She's
insight you
looking
got.
different.
Yeah, that's my insight. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I got this.
I think I'm sitting there watching this happen, being like, I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, I
But,
feel
like,
like,
watching,
the
like,
I'm like-
transformation is like when werewolves transform in horror movies,
Oh.
and like my bones are like.
Totally, yeah.
But she's
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
taller than me too. So.
It's not
Oh,
terribly
God.
comfortable. Okay,
Yeah.
so I drew a Knight of Swords. That's only going to be worth 1 if you want to use it at all, which would cause harmonics if you did. And then I just went ahead and drew the Devil.
Oh
So
God.
we're on a real
Come
roll here.
on.
I know. I'm sorry.
This is. Do
Did
not.
you shuffle?
Was
Did
this
you
what it's
shuffle?
like
Yeah.
every
Did you
time?
shuffle, David?
Can you imagine? You don't seem very good at it.
I am very practiced. I'll have you know.
I've
Please.
never seen him.
Is all of this
fail
on
like that.
I'm creating a Swedish meatball essentially.
With arms and legs.
You know, Grant, there are much easier ways to do this.
I appreciate your vote of confidence, Breksta.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is the sorcerer's spell attracts the attention of a nearby unseelie fairy or perhaps something even worse. We'll
My
cross that
God.
bridge in a moment.
Can you just draw something good, David?
I'm sorry. All right, what is this? This is a, what is that, 10
The-
of pentacles, coins, whatever you want to
pentacles.
call it. Yeah. Okay, so still not getting any wands here.
Where?
It's good. It's real good. Oh, good. Another major arcana card. This is insane. All right. Mathematically, this should not be happening.
I'm just
Okay.
so good at
I've
magic.
drawn 6 cards and 4 of them are major arcana. All right. This is Justice, La Force.
Okay.
Magic seems to judge the purpose of the spell. If it is noble, then the spell can be cast as normal. If it is selfish or cruel, the spell will turn on the caster. Just what the definitions of noble and selfish are in the scenario and the effect of the turn spell left to judgment of the host. All right, the spell can be cast as normal. Does that mean it's cast immediately? Let's go ahead and interpret it that way. All
I
right.
would agree. Put me out of my misery.
Your
All right.
misery.
Your misery. All right, so
it's
this is
embarrassing.
definitely a noble cause because you're trying to solve a murder. This is an instrument in solving a murder. So
I also would accept it totally backfiring and turning me into Bernadette.
I mean, we can write the fan fiction about it.
Is that what
there
you
you
were
go.
hoping for all along?
A little. I've been subtly trying to redirect the flow of magic.
All right, so very good. So after what is that? 12 minutes of gathering magical energies. Astrid, you are physically transformed into the exact duplicate of Bernadette. And in a very, very unpleasant, bone-cracking way that probably, I hope nobody else was around to see.
I'm pretty sure everyone was around to see.
Yeah.
No.
I know at least Breksta was there. So.
Oh,
so
God,
was-
that's true.
Yeah.
So was Haas, weren't you?
Yeah, he was pressed as far into a corner as possible, just shaking his head the whole time.
Oh, well, actually, yeah, let's get all Penny Dreadful with this shit, because also you attracted the attention of an unseelie fairy. So while Astrid or worse. So while Astrid is like on the floor gasping, bones cracking, of course Bernadette's like, you know, significantly taller than you, so you're like bursting out of your seams, you know, and just sweating and screaming. All the candles in the room go dim. The fire in the fireplace turns a cold blue. And then, well, let's see.
Satan
Alex
himself appeared.
Yeah. Now, Satan has 666 hit points. I just want to let you know.
Right.
So, Alex, you wrote such a good midweek taster.
Oh no.
It was super creepy. So yeah. So
your father-in-law.
Yeah. So in the blue fire of the fireplace,
Not pep.
a face begins to coalesce out of the fire, and it is a pale, bald head with long rodent-like teeth and eyes like Tahitian pearls, to quote from the manuscript. And it's looking very malevolent, and then it just intones Frederick, and then, you know, kind of bursts out of the fireplace and then sort of dissipates.
Oh God.
All right. So
Magic.
yeah, so yeah, Frederick is just gonna stand there, just staring at the fire where the face was, and just unmoving.
What the hell was
And
that?
then somebody comes over and takes your pulse, like, he's dead. He died standing on his feet.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, what the hell was that?
What?
So this is happening at like mid transformation, or is it after?
It's kind of, well, it's like as Astrid's transformation is finishing, that's, you know, it kind of comes to a head at the same time.
Frederick, I have to say, I thought you kept better company than this. I'm very disappointed in you.
As Astrid's like lying on the floor gasping.
I would definitely rush to her side to
same.
try to help her
That's
to
not
her
how it's supposed to
feet,
be
I
happening?
guess. I don't know.
No, this is 100% according to plan, better than even. But obviously, Astrid, when you create illusions such a way, at times people have adverse side effects. It's very complex, Breksta.
Side
Well, I
effects
think
may include
instead of-
transmogrification.
Instead
And
of
death.
doing an illusion, you actually changed her shape, and I thought that you'd said that wasn't your intention, but I guess maybe that's just the way that you...
You may have misheard me. You may have misunderstood. This is an illusion still. It's just
Really?
you know.
Because and I'm gonna like go over and like prod, like, well, you did a really good job of literally just transforming her shape without actually casting an illusion.
Well, you know. Thank you. Yeah, it's magic, Breksta. Perhaps I'll explain it to you sometime. I don't have time to get into it right now. Like, Grant's getting flustered.
Oh, it's fine.
Getting all-
Magic is for humans. I don't mind.
Like putting on this air, like, oh well, yes, we just don't have time to get into the complexities.
Actually,
You're gonna like
yeah.
mansplain magic to me.
Totally. Yeah, that's definitely what Grant would do. As he kind of helps Astrid up.
This is very realistic, and I think I should probably change into something more stupid and fancy.
Yeah, let's get you some clothes.
Would she sound like Bernadette as well, due to the change of
I guess
vocal
so.
cords?
Yeah,
I guess accent would be the
Well,
same.
no, the change of vocal cords might create a pitch shift, but since this is not an illusion, you would still have your brain and your, speech
Yeah.
center and everything. So yeah, you would have to do an impersonation of Bernadette, basically.
Yeah,
It
I
would
know
be-
what she sounds like.
It would be easier to do because you
Yeah.
have her larynx, basically, but
Right.
yeah.
I'll look at Haas and be like, not margarine.
Well, when you
Haas.
set the bar so low.
I nod and then step out onto the. Is there a balcony in this?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
I mean,
so,
it's Paris, so there's a balcony. Absolutely.
so yeah, I step out on the balcony for some air.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
I'm just gonna help Astrid, or I'm gonna walk Astrid downstairs or to some closet to get some clothes, or
Yeah, I
don't
can
know.
put something together because I have some like finer clothes. Like I went to the ball and everything, and then
Sure.
various
Yeah.
things.
Oh,
Then I
okay,
can
yeah,
throw
yeah.
stuff together. The last thing I need is a monocle of some kind or whatever.
I just
I'm
There's-
pretty sure I can extremely easily take pretty much anything and just make it look like a monocle.
That's a
Thank
good
you.
point.
You can be my Instagram filter for
There you
this.
go.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
If that blouse isn't quite bosomy enough, then I can,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You're like you're like
we'll just nip
Snapchat.
tuck all of that.
All right, cool. So
far, so
it
good.
worked. It worked. All right, so Frederick, you are writing a letter to Madame Bondi.
Yes, I'll mention in it that I have information that she would find most interesting. I'll provide an address for a safe house, a location where we can meet, and a time. Leave it kind of not too many details. Just kind of leave it mysterious. Oh, I will mention that I prefer if she came alone.
Excellent. All right. So then all that's left to do is wait. And about 3/4 of an hour pass by when your valet enters the parlor where you and Astrid / Bernadette are waiting. And he is bearing Madame Bondi's, carte de visite.
All right, so I'll accept it.
Mm-hmm. And he retires, and then a couple minutes later reappears with the leader of the protest movement herself, looking much as she did yesterday, and quite excited as well. Now, when she comes into the parlor, of course, Bernadette, how are you positioning yourself?
So I'm definitely sitting, like, as far as location, I'm located in a way that would make sense for being like an assistant or something to Frederick.
Mhm.
And he may be completely unaware of Bernadette's true nature, if, of course, Ms. Bondi knows who Bernadette is. But when she walks in, I think I would make it a point to kind of look up and smile at her, maybe even give her a little wink. But, and like I'll have a little like pen and paper ready, like I'm taking notes for him or something.
Right. Okay, so she does definitely come up short, and look a little surprised. And then she very quickly tries to mask it and says, "Oh, Monsieur Haas, I just assumed you'd be alone. But of course, you have your secretary with you."
Yes, my apologies. I hope that won't be a problem.
Not at all. Well then, yes, let's get down to business, shall we? I'm most anxious to give this speech.
Of course, please have a seat. And I have my little attaché case with all the pertinent documents and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Would you care for a drink? A refreshment?
Certainly. Just some milk if you have it.
I look over at Bernadette, Astrid, and kind of raise an eyebrow. Astridette.
Astrid.
But of course, Herr Haas. And I go over to make a white Russian without the Russian.
Right. Just make the white. All right. So, yes.
Just to kind of make this interaction interesting, I'm going to throw this down.
Uh-oh.
What do we
Perhaps
got?
it's thrown down.
The Emperor.
True confidence allows one to control the universe instead of the reverse. I get to choose one card at random from the host's hand and discard it. The host cannot draw back up to a full hand until a host character makes use of an ability which matches the suit of the discarded card.
That's very rude.
That's nice.
That's awesome.
All right, pull the card if you must.
Bam. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna yoink.
Oh, steal request. Let it go.
Okay.
Oh, that's annoying.
Aha! There we go. Okay,
There we go.
so
Okay.
unless anybody plays swords, you can't draw back to your full hand.
Is it anybody or me? I have to play swords.
I'm pretty sure until a host character makes use of an ability which matches the suit of the discarded
Yeah, a
card.
host character. Yeah, so I have to play swords, and until then, I can't refill my hand. Wow, that's aches. Okay. You know what, guys? I'm done with this whole tarot variant. We're just gonna go back to regular playing cards.
Table flip.
Yeah.
Right.
That being said, can I draw back up to my full cards?
Yes, you can. Okay. Wow, well played. All right, so there you go. And okay, so she is looking very expectantly at you, Frederick.
So I'll, without further ado, maybe a few pleasantries and say, well, must admit, I had little luck tracking down the wayward doctor. I have some leads out, and I hope to find more information soon on that. However, I do have some documents here that I think you'll find quite interesting. I'll open up my briefcase and take out one of the transcribed documents from Hoog, one of the less incriminating ones, maybe his denied bank loan application, and slide it over to Madame Bondi.
Okay, so she, when you told her that you haven't found the doctor yet, she looks a little disappointed, but is understanding. You know, she nods like, yes, of course. And then when you produce the papers, her face lights up again, and you know, she reaches forward and picks up the transcription. She reads it over, and she says, "But what is this? This is to do with the margarine factory."
Yes, it is one of several documents that I've procured. That I have other ones here, of course, that are more incriminating, and I think you would find them quite interesting, especially in your endeavors. However, I wanted to ask first that we are both honest with each other. I believe wholeheartedly in your cause, as I'm sure you could tell, and I wish to know what it is that I'm truly becoming involved with before I provide more information. And with that, I will reach into my coat pocket and produce the mirror and lay it on the table.
I will deliver her milk and just like brush her arm gently as I do and sashay back to my seat.
So she just stares at the mirror for like 30 seconds. And then she reaches down and picks up the tumbler of milk and starts raising it to her lips, but her hand is shaking, and the milk is like sloshing around inside the glass. And she says, I don't know what you mean by this, sir. And she takes like a kind of a larger sip than, would be normal.
I believe that you do. And as I said, I can be very helpful for you and your cause. But much of my own livelihood is put at stake in this, and I must know what happened here. I'm referring to, of course, the shooting, the mirror, and a specially designed gun. And I'm going to attempt... Can I perceive... Well, I'll wait and see what she says to that. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. When she says the shooting, she actually kind of, or when you say that, she actually kind of starts a little bit, like as if it's like she doesn't like to hear the word even, and so she sets the glass back down and gets a little lace handkerchief out from her sleeve and sort of crumbles a bit into the chair and begins to weep.
Okay, so I can't help but feel sympathetic, and I feel my resolve starting to break down, and I will stand and walk over to her and kind of, take a knee and like take her by the hand and kind of pat her on it. No, please.
So
I feel like this is where we burst in.
I know.
Go for it.
All right, yeah, I
do know exactly what you did.
Yeah.
You can see Frederick's like, it's okay, you can go, it's fine. This is all I didn't think.
Yeah.
Frederick's like, will you marry me?
To get the ring. God damn it, Frederick.
So
not again.
If they're busting in, then I'm gonna move back towards like the door she came in from to kind of just physically be a barrier.
Yeah,
as much as I can.
I'm gonna like swoosh back the curtains that I'm very. You can see like my pointed boots underneath.
Yeah.
Like, sticking out the bottom.
Yeah.
I swoosh it back in a very dramatic way, and I start marching in, and I see her weeping, and I'm like, Haas, go sit down.
So I'll put my hand up to like, I feel like maybe she's close to confessing to something, or at least letting us in, and I don't want to scare her, to like be too aggressive. So I'll try to raise my hand, but it might not work, so I might end up having to just kind of step back.
If you raise your hand and you're like, if you raise your hand and I see a look on your face like, I got this, and it's not like, I'm glad you're here because we need a witness, like, then I will stop. Just short of this person, this fairy, and but I want to get kind of, if you look like you got it, I'll respect that. But if it looks like you're about to start crying too, I'm going to intervene.
It could go either way.
All right.
So I think,
how about Iskander? What's he doing?
I mean, I honestly feel as though I would have burst through the doors, seeing Haas in his moment of weakness, and rush to her side and kneel down and take her hand lovingly in his and pat it in a very there sort of way. I don't know that I would have been privy to the ruse, the subterfuge that Frederick is perhaps employing.
Yeah.
So I would have just thrown the door wide and entered in two strides, having heard the conversation, and her last words being, I'm quite sure I don't know what you mean, sir, or what similar there would be more of an indicting finger at her. You do know, you, madam, for you, in fact, and then like just lay out the litany of charges. I wouldn't be as subtle by any means as Grant, I don't think.
Okay, I'm into it,
Not-
Jade.
Yeah, that's
Not
that's
to
totally
piss in
fair.
anyone's Cheerios, but I really
No,
think
no.
that's what
No,
he would do.
Frederick's proven that, if you were to walk into this situation not knowing otherwise, you would probably assume that Frederick fell for it again, or at least
Yeah.
was very, susceptible. So I think that's totally fair.
Totally.
Having been in the room for Breksta's like pep talk and snapping him out of it and stuff like that, it seems very plausible.
I do want to, at some point, I don't know if it's appropriate now or later, but I want to do the totally Wadsworth, like when you saw Bernadette, you flinched, like
Right.
how do you? I want to be like, how do you know this woman? Yeah, how do you know her? Because she's with us, and well, I don't want to be like you fell for my ruse, but I do want to be like. I want to be like, her, and I want to know how. I want to know your connection.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't know if that's a now thing or a later thing. I'll let you guys figure that out.
Probably.
Well, I think with the mirror and
later.
with Bernadette being in the room, I'm imagining Bondi thinks we know a lot more than we do, or at least that we're, and I think if we play it that way and we keep it close to the chest, what we actually do know, she might reveal more than we expect.
Okay, yeah, that's totally cool.
Okay, so of course,
we-
Iskander bursting into the room with Grant and Breksta behind him shocks her, and she gives a cry of surprise, and then looks at you, Frederick, with a somewhat betrayed and hurt face.
I know that I would have burst in with them, if I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like there's part of me that's like still sitting in my chair in the other room, like sipping on that brandy, just like, Frederick, I knew it.
That's fine. That's cool.
Just gonna hang back for a moment for this and like
right.
be the fly on the wall.
Sure. Nevertheless, two large human men bursting in is definitely enough to startle her, and she gives you that hurt look, Frederick. But then here come the waterworks yet again. She begins to cry again, and she says, "It is no use. It is no use. The guilt is too much. I cannot keep this secret any longer. Poor Michelle. Oh, it was not supposed to be him. It was supposed to be me." And she clutches at your hands, Frederick. "It was supposed to be me. I was supposed to be the one who gave my life, my existence in the service of this cause. I know that you understand that out of everybody here. You know what is at stake here and what must be done."
Does she seem like she's telling the truth?
Yeah,
Or is
I
she
wonder
just
if
being
she's
like
lying.
dramatic, emotional liar?
Trying to convince her
who's got a good or great perception would be my question.
I do, but can I be trusted?
Right. I was going to say,
I don't
I have
know,
a great perception.
Breksta's success
am-
to fix you is so good.
That's
Like,
fair.
I want to give something a shot here, because what is it? Would this be a social or status related activity to interrogate this person?
Oh, an interrogation is. I guess an interrogation is social. Yeah, sure.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to be like, I just want to kneel down in front of her when she's got the waterworks going.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like toss back the sides of my duster and kneel down so I can look her in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, look, Miss Bondi, I know you're feeling mighty guilty about what you done. We just need to lay out the events as what happened so that, you got somebody on your side and we can, basically like hold people who need to be accountable, and those who help us, we can, ease their situation a little bit. Kind of like narc.
That's definitely
Yeah.
social. Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
yeah. Narc on your friends, and we'll get you some time off.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, Dave.
Yo.
If I play perception, can you, and I get high score or high enough, can you secretly tell me whether she's telling the truth or not? Like, just send me a whisper just to like.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm just gonna
whisper sweet nothings in your ear.
So I'm just gonna dump everything. I don't have any pentacles, which I believe it's a pentacles, right?
Mental. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just dumped everything, and I have a great perception.
All right, so that'd be 12. Okay. All right. Duly noted. Let me just get you on the whisper here.
I mean, I would also think that I would be scrutinizing her. I want to believe the best in everyone, but I still want to understand what's going on here. And I don't know if Breksta would also, she's very perceptive. I don't know.
I am listening actively.
Yeah.
I just,
Are you
I
in
think
the
that
room?
honestly, I said that I would still be hanging back in the other room.
Right.
Honestly, I think that what I said earlier, I really meant like the loss of the permanent loss of a fairy is really rare and really hard. I think that it's really upsetting. I think that this whole time she, as a member of the fairy race, has been trying to wrestle with not only the ramifications of this, like on a societal level, but also just on a personal level, like whoever caused it, whether it was her, and even if, she meant to essentially commit suicide that way, like that's just so unthinkable. I think that I would rather sort of sit and not face it in a very
Kind of be at arm's length.
yeah, I think I'd want to put a little distance there.
Yeah, it's pretty
Nothing else.
intense, right?
So I'm sure that I'm like listening. I'm certainly paying attention, but I'm not.
Right.
I'm not in there with you.
Okay.
Iskander, for his part, does not believe her. Like, whether or not he perceives her to be lying or whatever, it's just like, nope, I'm convinced that you did this and you're saying otherwise.
What?
I don't believe you.
What would the target number for that perception check be?
Just in general, for perceiving her, that would be a good. You would need a 6 or better.
So
Okay.
I have a good perception,
I do too.
and I can spend cards on it if I need to.
I can too.
Mhm.
What would buy up to the next level?
So partial success you'd get a partial success automatically since you have a good perception, and then you would need a 9 or higher for a full success. So just 3 more points.
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and throw down this guy then, because I really do want to know. I think that I
Okay.
am disturbed, and even if it's for my own edification.
Okay, cool. Would
I
you
just
like me
need
to
to know.
whisper it to you as well?
Yes, because I'm sitting in the other room, and this is me like
Mhm.
drinking out of that snifter and taking it all in.
Okay. And how about Astrid?
I think with so many of my friends closer and or more attentive to this specific part than I am, I will let them perceive. I will hang on to the perceiving maybe for something more Bernadette related and let it go for now.
Well, if that's the case, then from the other room, you'll hear a small choked sob, and I'll say she's telling the truth.
Mm,
Love it.
sad. Grizzly does believe her.
Frederick nods in agreement as well.
My face would look sad, but it's Bernadette's face, and so I just look vaguely annoyed.
Like you smelled something bad.
Yeah.
Sadness
Like
looks like
you-
annoyance.
Yeah. I'm disappointed.
I'm not sad. I'm disappointed.
I am disappointed in the truth of the matter.
Yeah, I feel like it would pinprick Iskander's passionate belief in what he's accusing her of. So, but rather than the popped balloon, it would just be the slow, like, deflate, where 1 minute he's just indicting this poor little fairy, index finger accusingly erect, and just shouting these accusations at her, and the next he's just like, hey.
We've yet to see if she's a poor little fairy. She's telling the truth and she's sad, but that does not make her innocent.
True, but she seems pitiable.
She does seem pitiable. She does seem
Knowing
pitiable.
that she is telling the truth, I'm going to walk in
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to walk right up to her
Mm.
and simply say, "Why?"
Mm. So seeing a fellow fairy, she, is buoyed by that. And she takes your hands. She's still wearing her gloves, lavender soaked gloves, And she says, the cause was that important to me. I was willing to sacrifice myself. So I concocted a plan. I saw a painting at the Louvre, and it seemed to be a prophecy. And, well, and then she turns and looks at Astrid, and she says, before I tell you any more, I need to know, was she working with you the whole time?
Why don't you just keep on talking, and we'll get to that when we get to it. And if I need to play my narc on your friends cards, let me know.
Narc on your friends.
I'm great at narc on your friends.
Oh, good. So she says, well, I needed a disguise to do what I needed to do. And I saw this woman meeting at Monsieur Hugues' warehouse. And I was able to spy on them and overhear their conversations regarding stolen plans plans to steal designs for firearms, which gave me the idea to do the same myself. And so I assumed her form, and I went to Dr. Lamat's workshop, and I stole the plans. I stole the plans for the self-firing rifle. And, I am of brownie stock, so it took me only a night to build it. And, I burned my hands terribly in the process, but I did it. And then it was simply a matter of recreating the scene from the painting with my little mirror here. But poor Michelle. And then she tears up again and breaks down sobbing.
Now, since she was holding my little hand, I'm going to take this opportunity. I have to know. I'm going to take off one of her little gloves just to look at it.
Yeah, it's the fingers and palm are all covered with pretty severe iron burns.
Medicine-wise, is there anything, beyond what she's doing that would help the healing process?
Not really, no. It's, it's fairy physiology, so it's, time, exactly.
So I want to be like, all right, you said the cause. I want you to tell me what you mean.
With my death, it would have galvanized my followers. It would have outraged them. My memory would have been far more powerful than any speech I could have given and any leadership I could have provided here. But it had to count. It had to be a real death. It had to be a final death, you see. It was my hope to trigger a worldwide movement against these industrialists.
Okay.
And she looks at Frederick, I know you know what I'm talking about, kind of thing.
You're cool.
Yeah, you got it. You're woke. You're woke AF.
For real.
I think at this point I wouldn't even bother sounding like Bernadette. So I'm really hot, but I sound like Astrid. But so I'd be like, would you be willing to testify to what you heard them talking about stealing?
So she looks a little surprised and she says, well, would that put you in jeopardy, madam?
Right, yeah. I want to be like, all right, you tell me everything you know about Miss Bernadette here. And I get out I get out my book, my spell book, and I go to a blank page. And and I'm starting to write it down like I'm, a legal hothead or something.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping that you would just like conjure in front of you like a floating, glowing like Google Doc.
Right.
we
I'm
we
like,
can't
go
risk we can't
on.
risk that right now. We can't risk.
Correct. Turn her brain into butter. And...
Yeah. Hold on, let me just conjure a notebook. Her head explodes. Oh, geez, I'm really
there's
sorry.
even more major
Yeah.
arcana than exist in the deck. Like,
Right, I draw every major arcana.
All right. So she's actually able to provide you with the address that Bernadette is staying at in the city, because she overheard her telling Hoog, like, here's where you can find me, kind of thing. But apart from that, she doesn't know too much. She knows that Bernadette works for the Prussians and that she's here in town, conducting industrial espionage, basically.
Okay.
Hey.
But she says, surely we can cut a deal with the police. Although after what Monsieur Haas told me, I'm even more loath to fall into their clutches.
I would
But
not.
I must do my duty for justice. It is unfair that Michelle's death should go unpunished.
Do we tell her that the margarine factory is not actually being built?
No,
I mean-
I don't think we have anything to gain by giving this person information.
that, and she already knows that he's involved with this whole weapons-based espionage thing. So I would assume she has an inkling that may be the case.
Margarine was the red herring. It wasn't about the margarine.
But it sounds
it was-
like
it was-
he...
it's
It was never about the margarine.
It was never about the margarine. It was about
But
the
I-
Industrial Revolution.
I still
Mhm.
question whether the brownies and whether the protesters actually know that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
no, that's true.
None of it was publicized. All of it was very much under the table. Like there was no like retrofitting of the factory that was done in broad daylight. We didn't know until
Mhm.
it was
Well-
investigated from the inside. I guess I wonder.
I think letting them know that might literally spark riots.
Hmm.
Or it might bring peace because if her friend was sacrificed but the cause is no more, I mean, it might at least encourage her to, lay down arms, as it were.
It
But
may, but I
Hoog
think
is kind of caught in the middle of this. I think he
Right.
was originally trying to start a margarine factory. It became a thing. He was
Yeah.
losing money. So he's like, well, then guns, obviously.
yeah,
Right?
Hoog hops from opportunity to opportunity. He
Well,
doesn't take
especially with someone like Bernadette taking advantage of the fact that he's down on his luck, right?
Yeah.
Because she's a horrible bitchy booba.
Right.
So, I think that we could resolve this by using Hoog as that linchpin, because if we can get him not to go through with this, then there's no margarine factory, there's no gun factory. And if we can get Bernadette and the French can be like, you freaking Prussians, then yeah, that's all cool with me.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
fairies
burn the
don't have to go
factory
to
the
weird
ground.
aggro police jail.
no. I got plans. I got plans for the factory.
I was going to say, I think burning it to the ground would absolutely 100% be pointed right back at her, which would
Yeah.
not
I will
necessarily
say,
be
Frederick,
fair.
since you know these sorts of things, you're a sharp kind of guy, and you've looked over the transcripts of all of Hoog's papers. If you do nothing, he's out of business. He doesn't have the capital to continue even with his gun factory plan. He needs cash infusion, or else the whole thing's going to shut down.
Which likely, I mean, he would probably take the insurance policy from the factory burning down just to cover his losses.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Spice was suggesting that if we just burn it, then he would be like, cool, and he'd bounce.
Yeah,
That is true.
we
That's
don't
a good.
want to do that.
It's not a bad solution, honestly.
It's
I mean,
a very
No.
bad solution. It's
'Cause it makes the
absolutely gonna
fairies
get
look
pointed on
hella
the
guilty.
protesters,
Yeah.
it looks the fairies. Yeah, it makes the fairies look guilty.
which is already in a very precarious state of unrest.
So
Well,
if we can
what-
just get him to
Yeah.
publicly say, I am not margarinifying Paris.
I think
Long live the fairies.
I think we're
we can do
putting we're putting the horse in front of the cart here, right?
That's where it goes.
I know.
The horse in front of the cart.
Yeah, that's the joke. But yeah, I think you guys need to keep this fairy here. I think she needs to stay here. Maybe somebody else, Breksta, maybe you need to go back to the fairy camp and just be like, look, I know there was going to be a speech today or whatever, but like, she's not feeling too hot. She's going to sit this one out for a little bit. And then we need to go take care of, I need to go get this Hoog business taken care of. And we need to get Bernadette, because Bernadette's at the heart of all this. And, like I said, like we all know now, Hoog is caught in the middle somewhere. And I'm not saying he's a good guy. He's just an opportunist and a capitalist.
I think we can probably solve all these pretty quickly and easily. I think we can get Hoog out of business, which either we just wait and let it happen on its own, or we show him the documents and tell him, all right, shut it down. Before we do that, before we tip off Bernadette, we could go find Bernadette and, mete out whatever kind of justice needs to be, or meet. And and then with Madame Bondi, if we assure her that we will shut down Hoog's operations in Paris and find all people responsible, maybe we can ask her to confess, to not a murder, because that wasn't her intent, but an accidental, situation or whatever that was. And I could offer to use my diplomatic channels to make sure that, she doesn't have to get, involve herself with the police department and all that kind of stuff, do it through diplomatic channels.
Be manslaughter,
Diplomatic
right?
immunity.
I mean,
exactly.
I don't think
Diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, I mean, technically, because her intention wasn't to shoot the other brownie. It was herself, and the other brownie jumped in the way. So I think it's possible that we could ideally, my goal, Frederick's goal, is to avoid all out, bloodshed in the streets between brownies and the police and everyone else caught in the middle. So if it's possible to get all that smoothed out by shutting down Hoog's factory,
wait,
bringing Bernadette to justice, and getting a confession out of Bondi.
I have a better idea that I think is going to solve all of our problems.
Transmute Hoog.
Does it involve magic?
It does not involve magic at all. Okay, we all know that I'm filthy rich American oil man or gold man.
Right.
I can still invest money into Hoog's operation, and I could probably be majority shareholder.
Mm-hmm.
That's step one. Step two, get all the brownies back in that factory working. The biggest
problem though is he was retrofitting it for guns, and fairies can't.
Yeah. We tell him he can't do that. He's got to go back. He's got to go back to butter.
The issue is that the brownies don't want to work in a factory. They work on farms. They have adopted families that they work with. So.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, then never mind. I guess we can burn that factory to the ground. Just kidding. But
can't do that either.
Yeah. But so we can get that thing closed down or something. I don't know, like close it down. Someone else is going to move in. But whatever, it's now a.
Don't worry, it'll just be replaced with a workhouse for children.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But get that. But we do need to have Miss Bondi call off the hounds, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Also, for Frederick, you would know. Speaking of diplomatic immunity, you would know that. Yeah, speaking of or in terms of jurisdiction, any kind of comeuppance or punishment for Madame Bondi should really actually technically be meted out by Lord Oberon.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe she can seek asylum with your government in
Yeah.
the interim to protect her from the police.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
She can shelter in the embassy or what have you, similar, while we go deal with Bernadette.
have we figured out who's hypnotizing the police? Has that issue been dealt with?
Yeah, we know who was doing it, and then he Zoidberged off into oblivion
Right.
after being caught doing his experimenting.
So now can we assume that the police are no longer under their mesmerism, or is that just like permanent until somebody breaks it?
Who's to say?
Yeah.
Who is
Well,
to
at
say?
least the P of the PP is aware of what's going on and likely to take action of some kind.
The Chief
no.
P.
He'll
Is
never be
there-
the same.
Is there a way to get the brownies back working in a farm? How can we make
Well, I
the
think
brownies
that
happy
it was
out of
never
this?
an issue that they had lost their farm work. It was the concern that having a major factory in the city would cause people to stop supporting the
Was
small
putting
farms,
them
Right.
out.
and
of work.
thus
Okay.
the small farmers, and by proxy, the brownies would suffer
You
as
got
a
it.
result. So it's not that they had already lost their jobs. I think it was more that industrializing and offering like a cheaper, mass-produced alternative would
I feel that.
cause them to suffer.
Yeah.
I think
feel that.
all of this being said, then perhaps I can escort Madame Bondi to Lord Oberon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so if you guys want to wrap up with Hoog and everyone else, I can at least see her safely to that
Yeah.
piece of things.
Yeah, I
didn't
definitely
even
think that's the
think of that.
safest thing because, I mean, nobody wants her behind like uncomfortable metal bars here, like for something that
Right.
humans aren't going to understand anyway.
I
I
would
don't know.
rather break
I-
laws
Yeah.
than
I am
have to
s-
go to that sort of fate.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am
It's not right.
still. I don't think she's innocent at all. I think she needs to pay
But
for
certainly,
what
I
she's
think that
done.
our kind are more equipped at deciding what that should look like than
That's doable.
I
But
think she'll need
They
a
would also understand the seriousness of that kind of death too.
yeah,
Mhm,
exactly. Like
mhm.
attempted permadeath, negligent manslaughter, and inciting a riot / attempted worldwide movement. I guess. Surely that requires 20 push-ups or so.
What about a
That-
written confession that we can deliver in her absence? So Breksta could take her to Lord Oberon to the Fairy Court for justice or whatever, but we still have this
I
thing that we can
imagine
present to.
the Sealy court would be more than happy to sort of provide a
Mhm.
writ of judgment, kind of an official statement from the more political powers that be.
Okay,
Definitely.
Something
Yeah.
that
And,
is
like-
perhaps a little sanitized for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
public and made more diplomatic, because certainly all of this had the potential to really cause some major damage in the treaty between Fae and humans. So they
Yeah.
probably want to
Mhm.
damage control that a little bit.
And
Yeah.
I think with all the kind of tensions running high right now, and it's not just her followers weren't just Fae, but also there were humans as well, right? And so it's kind of this thing where, if we can get ahead of that and kind of say, hey, this is what happened, and
Yeah.
hope it'll.
And I think honestly, as long as we can make sure that it is clearly like given that the margarine factory is not going to be a thing and they've won, they can go back to their farms and be cool. Like I can talk to Farmer Cedric or whatever. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I give a
I-
rousing speech to the fairy camp, letting them know
Yeah.
that their work has succeeded and they have done the good deed.
Right.
I think that's good.
At
I-
the end of the day, they're, coming together and their dedication has dismantled the system.
That's right. I also think I'm gonna try to buy the factory from Hug.
Okay.
Um,
Buy him out, fellas.
yeah, I'm just gonna try to buy him out, and then we can figure out something productive to do with it.
And that's how Grant became an international arms dealer.
Right. I'm like, I was always a Colt man, but I guess I'm making Winchesters.
Lord
yeah.
of War.
I
It could
could
be like history's first maker space. Like
There you go. Yeah,
slash
something like that.
home base.
Well, yeah, so that's what I'm going to try to do. So,
Okay.
because I don't think Hug is Hug's a dummy. We've kind of established, he's an opportunistic dummy, but I don't think is he malevolent in any way? I don't think so.
He's just a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, he's just a bit of an
Um,
asshole.
So I
Exactly.
guess, though, next steps, do we want to ambush Bernadette first before she gets out
Yeah.
of town? Or like,
Yep.
do we want to split up so that you're still meeting with Hugh and resolving that issue, and some people are going to Bernadette?
I think meeting with Hugh at this point is totally irrelevant. I think we have Bernadette's address. I think we just go get her.
Okay.
Yeah, but we
Because
have the
we can
element of
always meet up with
surprise.
Hugh later, because what's he going to do? Like hemorrhage money? Okay.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right,
Hoog's
right.
not going to do shit.
Plus, you have access to all of his financial records, so you know exactly how much to offer him. You know, like
Totally.
you know what he wants basically,
Yeah.
and so it's
Plus-
kind of a foregone conclusion, honestly.
Yeah. Plus, I'm loaded up with social status cards, so I can get a loan, no problem.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as
With a good
Iskander
interest
heard
rate,
her,
David.
What kind of APR are we talking about?
This is what the people want to hear.
That's right.
He's not gonna
ask
go
all
to
the hard
bank
questions.
That's like, oh, Le Shark loans.
Loan du shark.
Right. Ooh, there we go. Debt relief. The factory.
Oh, yes.
Start America Junior right here in Paris.
America Junior.
Anyway, Iskander, what were you saying?
Oh, just as soon as he heard Bernadette's address and knowing that she is the thief of his plans and probably has the most direct line on it, he would have already been at the door, and only by some Herculean act of will did he manage to just not already be on his way and wait for the scenario to resolve itself. But that's very much where he's at. Like, yeah, why are we dicking around here?
Right,
We
yeah.
know where we need to
Who-
go to get her. Plus, she has my plans. So
Who all wants to
started
go
his
to
way
get
in his mind.
Bernadette? Astrid, you're going to take
Yeah.
Miss Bondi to the camp, right?
No, Breksta is,
Or, yeah,
I think,
sorry,
is in
Breksta.
charge of the transport.
Okay,
You will
good.
be escorted to the realm of fairy as befitting.
Okay, right, phenomenal. And then Astrid as Bernadette, you're Bernadette for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
Well,
I could try to
I
undo
would
that.
love
Fair.
for you to knock on the door and have her
Yeah.
answer.
The
I mean,
That'd
I
be
feel
cool.
like that's a missed opportunity if we don't
Yeah.
have the 360-degree camera
Yeah.
swoop, you know?
The Michael Bay.
Well, and we
Yeah.
have to have the moment where you guys aren't sure which
Absolutely.
one's the bad Bernadette.
Right. Like
That's
total
it.
Army
Put
of
that-
Darkness
Yeah.
split screen
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Shoot me, shoot
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But-
Yes.
I'll just shoot you
Yes.
both and then
We'll work it out.
and we'll work it out.
Just see which one sounds like Astrid.
That is true.
She would
yeah.
probably know what I sound like pretty well too.
She could do an Astrid impersonation. Hello, I'm Astrid.
Yeah. I like tinkering.
Tinkering.
Oh, it's the original shoot the
That's her,
hostage.
all right.
Everyone's so good and nice.
That's her, all
Actress everywhere. Like, yeah. But no, I think if there's one thing that will at least momentarily distract Bernadette because of how frickin' vain she is, it's herself.
Mm.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I'm into
yeah.
that. So do we, I mean, I don't want to like jump in and accost her, I guess, but or put a
I
gun in
do.
her face. I mean, I know you
To
do,
accost her.
but I
I
would
do
have to.
too.
I'm
I would-
sorry.
I will-
you
I
were
would-
totally advocating for bringing cold iron to interrogate a fairy who we didn't even know was guilty, but for someone who was actually a Prussian spy, a
Whoa.
dastardly arms
Prussian
dealer.
dastardly-
You're like, oh, let's not wave
dastardly
a gun
arms
in her
dealer?
face.
I would
Yes,
never
no.
advocate.
First of
How
all,
dare
look,
you?
this might be some form of white privilege, but
Accused.
but I will say this. Although I don't want to wave a gun in her face because A, she's a political ambassador, right?
Hmm.
And
I mean, not really. She doesn't have any official.
She's a
Oh,
dirty
okay.
spy.
well, then never
yeah,
mind.
she's spy.
Well,
she could be arrested and
thieving
shot.
spy.
Actually.
oh, okay, fair
She's
enough.
the worst.
Well, then
Yeah.
I will
Well-
go wave a gun in her face.
All I'm asking for is equitable gun waving.
That's
So
right.
look, I will oblige to that, even though it's spying worse than I don't know attempted suicide and negligent manslaughter. Who knows?
Yes.
Man, I gotta tell you,
That's for the courts to decide.
my plan as soon as she opens the door and stands there, jaw agape in shock at seeing her own doppelganger, is just to cold cock her and knock
Yeah.
that bitch the fuck out
I mean, I'm fine
and
with that.
find my plans. Like, just
I'm
no,
fine with that.
no words, no, sight unseen, nothing
Can we
said.
not-
just-
Let's not delay him any further, shall we?
Yeah,
Let's-
as long as- as long as I can-
let's do
Yeah.
a quick cut. We're gonna do a quick cut to the Pulp Fiction style knock on the door, and then the door opens and it's Bernadette. So Iskander, go ahead and give me some cards with your physique ability as you cold cock, or I'm sorry, your fisticuffs ability as you cold cocker.
I hope your hand is appropriate for this, Iskander.
Well, this is an interesting opportunity to inquire after all of my pancreation studies if they've managed to elevate my fisticuffs from average to good or not.
Yes, your fisticuffs are now good.
Fantastic.
No, just good.
That real quick.
Yeah, your fisticuffs are fantastic.
Don't get too big for your britches. All right. So we're taking good fisticuffs. And on to that, we're going to drop Garçon of Wands.
Okay, the Garçon of Wands. Excellent. So that is worth 12. In addition to your good fisticuffs in 18. Okay. Let me just...
My aim is to knock her out completely. Because the Hollywood knockout, because if it was real life, that could kill someone.
Right.
Be severe, but Hollywood knockout, it's
just getting ready to bear hug her legs as necessary. Just to dive for the legs. I have no fighting.
This will knock out a tooth.
Ooh, oh man.
Oh yeah. Damn. Well, yeah, I should actually check
not the face.
Stomach. All right, let's see here. Let me just check how much damage you're going to do here, because you got an 18 total. She has a good physique, which is a 6, so that is a high success. I don't have any wands to spend to buy up my end, so. Let's just see.
And plus, could you, because of your sword curse?
I could, I just wouldn't be able to redraw. So basically my hand just gets smaller and smaller over time, which is marvelous.
Hooray!
Okay.
Special rules.
Yay! Okay, here we go. All right, so there we go. Where's the old damage chart? There we go. Okay. A blow. What is your physique?
My physique is good.
Okay, great. All right. Excellent. So, all right, yeah, you do knock her out, and in fact, if you want to knock out a tooth, that's up to you. But
absolutely. Let's go for broke.
Literally. All right. So yeah, the tooth goes flying across her elegant penthouse suite here at the Hotel Balzac, and she I know, and she hits the floor.
Excellent. I don't think I'd even break stride. I would turn that punch into just walking right into the place and immediately begin investigating for my
just
plans,
rifling through everything.
All right, yeah.
I'm gonna just start.
I would secure her and check her. Try not to get into any of the more private pockets, but she's a spy, so whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna search her. Yeah. How about Grant?
And secure her in case she's faking
it. Okay. Sure.
I'm definitely there. I probably followed third, and I'm just kind of looking around her apartment. Is anybody else there?
No.
Okay, cool. And then I'm just gonna let Iskander tear this place apart. Until he
plays apart.
Yeah, until he finds what he's looking for, and then maybe we can Led Zeppelin it up and start throwing chairs out the windows or something.
Out goes the television.
Right.
How about Frederick? Did he come along for this little joyride?
I think if it is okay, or if it's appropriate, I think he would want to accompany Breksta and Madame Bondi to the court of Oberon. That
makes total sense, actually.
To represent the human element of the situation.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. Astrid, you find a bit of curtain, the things they use to draw curtains, whatever those are called, cord, I guess.
Right.
Cut that off and bind her ankles and wrists.
Nice.
And then, what are Iskander and Grant's perceptions?
Mine is average.
Same.
All right. Would you like to spend any cards?
What is average?
Do you need to ask for my help?
Sorry,
when I'm
what is
Yeah.
perception?
Perception is pentacles.
Pentacles, yeah.
I don't have any pentacles.
Okay.
Let's see. What was I dealt? All right. No pentacles that will help out with that, nor do I have any major arcana that would seem to be beneficial. So
You could dump your hand.
I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll actually pull a Neo on the rooftop scene on the Matrix and just say, Astrid, help. Just ask her to straight help.
Right, because as you're searching this suite, it's like she's barely even settled in. It looks like as if she had just checked in this morning. She has a small little carpet bag that is on the the little folding luggage table, and you're rifling through that, and it's just got some change of clothes. She's got a few toiletries laid out on the vanity, but you're searching all the closets and all the drawers. Everything's like empty. There's a whatever the French equivalent of a Gideon's Bible is, like stuff like that. But it's like she was ready. She had her go bag basically. Like she's ready to go at a moment's notice, and she's just basically using this as a place to sleep.
The miniature baguette on one of the pillows.
Yeah.
So if you're calling for my help, I'd be like, make sure these knots are good. I'll take a look. Because my perception is good.
I'll keep an eye on Bernadette, and you guys can look, because I don't have anything at stake here, and I have a gun, so I'll just pull out my gun and.
We're kind of itching to shoot her already. It's an itchy trigger finger.
I don't necessarily have an itchy trigger finger, but I'm very good at shooting, so I'm just gonna have my gun out. Yeah, I'm prepared. Like if she's gonna try to get up and villain away like the last guy, like.
Time for a monologue.
All right, yeah, I'd probably be okay with it, but Kenny would love that. But Grant, he's taking precautions.
Okay, so you have a good perception, you say?
Yes.
Okay, so can you get that up to a 9 from your 6?
Yes, that's pentacles, right?
Pentacles. Mm-hmm.
Child.
Okay. Can you get it up to a 12?
Ooh. Let's see. Let me think about this one.
It's close.
Yeah.
You just played a 5, so you're at 11. So really, you could play a card of
anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pow. Pass the cups.
All right, great. So with that, you get a high success, which means that you find basically secured under one of the drawers is her copies of Iskander's plans and notes for the gun.
Are there any other gun plans that she was successfully able to steal in her time here that she's secreted in these spots?
No, just
Okay.
these.
Okay.
But with that high success, you also find hidden behind the basin in the water closet her what appears to be her cipher and code book, and it's full of all kinds of notes and codes.
Okay, I'm going to save that to talk to Frederick about, because I'm sure he'll have some opinions on what we need to do with this.
Mm-hmm. And what would you like to do with Bernadette?
I'm gonna wait till she wakes up and then just be like, Miss Bernadette, you're under arrest.
All right. Citizens
Yeah, I
arrest.
do think we'll probably want to hold on to her. Like, I feel like Frederick is the one who knows what to do with this stuff, and the rest of us are like, we can tie her up and hold her down and feed her bacon until he gets back, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kinda. I'm fine with taking her to the police and being like,
I just don't trust them to keep track of her well enough. I feel like it's more of an international incident. And
Yeah.
so I feel like Frederick has to get involved so that we know who should really handle it. Because I feel like if we just take her to the police, she's going to bust out of there because she's smart. I mean, dumb and horrible, but also smart.
They're
that's
known
true.
to
That's
be
fair.
corrupted, so yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely need to enlist Frederick's help. But you said these are her copy of my plans? These aren't the originals?
Like what she copied your plans and then destroyed the originals was the thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are your plans to your satisfaction, Iskander?
Well, standing there holding them, looking through them, and I notice that they're copies, but I guess it occurs to me somehow that the
if you recall,
were...
like she had erased the chalkboard and like all that kind of stuff.
Is that what was burned in the fireplace, I wonder?
Exactly, yeah. She had thrown papers in the fire and erased the chalkboard after copying everything down.
It's reasonable to assume that these are the only copy left.
Yes. That is
all right. Is there a fire built up in the hearth, or is there not because she
was planning to leave? Fire going. Yeah. Well, the servants kind of do that. So
fair enough. I would respond to Grant's question with, I once thought this would make me great among men and aid me in my quest to defend mankind and bring peace to the world. I now see that such a thing can only wreak terrible havoc and death. And such a thing should not exist, and I must start over. And with that, I would throw them onto the flames and watch them curl into black nothingness.
Damn.
That's awesome. And I would,
amazing.
Yeah, I would probably respond to that and be like, well, that's the thing, Iskander. You can make a bullet, but you can't pick who holds it.
Indeed. Once it leaves the barrel, it is in God's hands, which is the only place such a thing as this perhaps should exist.
In the video game scene of this happening, it would be like, you'd see me, but really it's Bernadette but me, and I'd like nod approvingly, and it would say like,
Astrid
remember
approves.
This.
All right. So speaking of cutscenes, then we have the sort of juxtaposed scene of Bernadette being taken into official custody, not by the police, but by, if you wanted to enlist Frederick, I suppose, perhaps she'd be taken off to the Austrian embassy as neutral ground, right? While simultaneously, Frederick and Breksta are awaiting the arrival of this giant swan-shaped boat that's being somehow propelled across a shimmering pond, with weeping willows dipping into the water as it bears Lord Oberon in his, tall elfin form with, jet black hair and big arched eyebrows and just this really fine. He likes to affect the uniform of a French hussar whenever he deals with humans, so it's this like totally turned out military uniform with all the gold braid and fine tailoring as Madame Bondi, stoically awaits her fate. And then Grizzly Grant, sliding a piece of paper across the table at a restaurant to Monsieur Hoog, who picks it up and his eyes kind of bulge and he puts it back down and says, I accept,
Guys, we're arms dealers.
Great.
We did it.
And so the final scene then, before we iris out, is of Astrid. You wake up the next morning. Mr. Grant, of course, assured you that he had cast a spell to last for a day. But when you stumble to the vanity and look in the mirror, it is Bernadette's face still looking back at you.
Oh shit!
I can
Oh, my.
explain. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I
Yeah,
mean,
'cause it's-
not for Astrid, but
well,
it's
no,
awesome for me.
but yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
that's cool.
Turns out it's not an illusion, so it's turn back.
Yeah, I wasn't awoken during the night by my bones crunching back down.
Exactly. Yeah. My sleep was suspiciously good. All
Damn,
right. Well, that was
awesome.
firearms and margarine, everybody. So
Oh my god, we did it.
That
You
was
did it.
I
awesome.
did it.
now, to your credit, I know I was giving you a hard time at times, but like this actually comes with a handout for the GM to track the clues, and it's 3 pages long, and there's just like little bubbles to fill in, like as you track the clues. So you guys got almost all of them. The only ones you didn't get was that the floor around the tripod of the rifle appears to be damp, indicating that the window had been opened since early that morning, and that Monsieur Hoog was hiring ruffians as guards for the factory.
With the
There was
same
a whole
ruffians that harassed Haas.
exactly, yeah, exactly. And then you never went to a bank to try and get Hoog's records because you didn't have to, so that was a possible clue. There was a whole like kind of side thing that I just left out because you guys were getting enough information otherwise, but like it was kind of dropped at the ball where they were sort of trying to blame the commune, which is the sort of like underground anarchist movement, and so it's like you could have followed that up and tried to go and interview people associated with the commune.
I utterly forgot that was even dropped.
Yeah, it was very brief and in
So
passing
much-
because you were
much
so
information.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the original adventure as published does have this whole red herring with a tall blonde woman, but it's this other thing where it's like it's this woman, conducting a love affair basically, and you're supposed to see like some weird incriminating classified ad and then get suspicions about her. But I'm like, oh, we got Bernadette, so I'm just going to drop that in instead. So
That fit nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
it
was
worked out.
Yeah,
a good integration.
Mhm.
absolutely.
Man, what a cool chapter, you guys. I don't
Yeah.
want to say we nailed it, but after
We massaged it.
we
Yeah, it was more like
Into
a wood screw than a nail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
it was
really-
like
We really-
the new
Then-
Yankee workshop,
Yeah, fine intricate Japanese joinery where there's no nails or anything, just all the weird geometrical shapes that
All right. Well, you know
fit
what though?
together
I mean,
perfectly.
damn. We got like almost all the clues like David said, and
yeah.
I think we came up with some pretty interesting solutions to everything, and kind of end. I didn't expect to come out of the end of this with like everybody happy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I thought the brownies were going to be pissed, or Hoog was going to be, dead, or Bernadette was going to escape. Like some loose end, but we knocked it out.
You got it all. Yeah. No, I was totally ready to have Bernadette escape, but
Right.
you were on it, so that's good. That's
we're
good.
just walking alongside a cart drawn by a donkey as Paris burns on the horizon.
Right.
Well,
Don't
now
look
what,
back.
guys? Yeah. What next?
Yeah. On to the next adventure.
I just want to drop to be
Nailed it.
completely
Now
fair,
what?
when we did our playtest of Secrets of Berlin,
Uh-huh.
they got to the end of the apocalypse. We literally were just like, we're just gonna leave.
Yeah, there was
We're
one of
going
those.
somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And it
yeah.
was like, you hear months later that Berlin has just completely succumbed to the dark.
Berlin is no more. Yeah, they had to send in the army to put it down. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's always an option, I think.
Oh, absolutely. It should always be an option.
Oh yeah, that's like a
Uh,
classic Call of Cthulhu option. You're just like,
Yeah.
I'm just out of here.
Yeah.
Blow it all up.
And
yeah.
then months later, you read a newspaper article that
Yep. All right. So speaking of on to the next adventure, I think the next indicated step is we've got a little bit of a time crunch for Grizzly Grant. There's a wedding coming up that needs to be
Yeah.
broken up.
That's true. And we don't have to. I mean, if you guys want to be a part of that, I'm more than happy. But if that needs to be like a weekend taster thing, because everyone's like doesn't care about, my old lady getting hitch to my rival or whatever. Like that's
Right.
fine. Or if it's like a subplot or something like that.
Yeah. Does it fit as a subplot in the very nicely gifted adventure from our Delzorn games? No, for the next little adventure we're going on.
I'll
Or
just say
is
that the next story that I'll be, like adapting from published material, will be taking place after the
Okay.
wedding. So we could do it as a midweek taster, or we could just have it as the prologue next week if you all want to be involved. It's really either way is fine.
I'll leave it up to you guys. Of course, I would love to have you all there as I resolve this, backstory thread.
I feel like our relationship is such that we would want to assist you,
Yeah.
at least Astrid
Yeah.
would, but yeah.
I love the idea
Yeah.
of like a pulpy prologue where it's like we pick up
Yeah.
mid-action and it's like, what the hell's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
Why are we in England? What's happening?
yeah.
Why are we in a
I
Zeppelin
look
over London right now?
fabulous.
All right.
And you have to do the exposition flashback, like-
Right.
I do think that having kind of like a one-off palette cleanser in between like this, since it ended up being kind of a long scenario, and then the
Mhm.
next thing, however long that ends up taking, might be
That would
kind of
be cool.
nice to just like mix it up a little.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, we get to see Iskander dabbing daintily at the corner of one eye with the tiniest, laciest kerchief. I always cry at weddings.
Totally.
God.
You guys get to see
Oh,
Grizzly
beautiful.
Grant, like Wayne's World, a wedding where
Mrs. Bouvier.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, wrong wedding.
Oh, sorry. Okay, that sounds good. And yeah, actually the scenario itself is not nearly on the same level as this one. So it might be like a, don't want to jinx myself, but no, seriously, like I was reading through it this afternoon. I'm like, well, I'll at least read the first half just in case I have to we have a half hour at the end of the session or whatever. And then I just, before I knew it, I was done reading the entire scenario. So it's not a huge scenario by any means, so
Okay, cool.
the whole thing, the wedding, and then the, scenario itself, that'll be definitely a palate cleanser for sure. And it'll be suitably spooky.
Yeah.
So-
Awesome.
All right,
I'm
cool.
super, super excited.
All right, guys. So we'll do it again next week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was great.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Yeah,
everyone.
thank you.